And even when they were in Division 3, I thought they were Division 1 material. And look, if they win, they really do deserve it and really cement their spot in one of the top echelons where they were a couple of years ago. As we mentioned, 2003 was the last time that North Ringwood were in Division 1. And look for them. And as I think their vice president just mentioned on the pre-game just before that, I think it also helps their juniors because their juniors are pretty strong, especially in their 19s. And I think for them, it'd be a fantastic step for them in their club to play in Division 1 and play against the top teams. Well, on the other hand, Croydon, look, they've been there. They were in Division 1 not long ago, only 3 years ago.
Yes,
and
they have that experience.
They have that experience as well. But look, either way, whoever wins this game deserves to go Division 1 and put a real challenge to the Division 1 clubs next season.
And we mentioned about that experience and the juniors, obviously, in the development, how successful that's been for both sides. Andy, just to put you on the spot also, do you think there's a geographical factor there? The fact that a lot of young families are moving out towards the North Ringwood, Croydon area. Is that why there's a variety to choose from in terms of the selection of young talent and how they develop through the juniors?
I can give you a prime example. My sister just bought a house in Croydon and she's looking to start a family. So if I could use that as the prime example, that would be it. So certainly I think, if we're going to really use tangents here, I suppose housing prices is for families to go more in the outer suburbs, and some of those outer suburbs will benefit from having great youth or a lot of youth to choose from in the development of football clubs. So look, I suppose we are sort of drawing a very loose bow here, but certainly it can have a factor. But look, on a serious note, both sides are in great shape, no matter who wins today. And what happens is the loser of today, they might sort of say to themselves, look, you know what, it might not be the worst thing because are we going up too early? Of course they'll want to be in Division 1, of course, but if they don't, it might not be the worst thing for them, but obviously you want to win today.
I think the difference is I could see North Ringwood going up and challenging for finals like Montrose. Whereas if Croydon goes up, I don't see them making finals. I think they could be around that sort of 8th or 9th mark.
They're kind of like St Kilda, Croydon, in the sense that they've got not in terms of how the quality, I suppose, in terms of the top end and their age level and the bottom end and their age level. There's not a lot of, as I mentioned before, those mid-aged players in their prime. So, and those young players, they're trying to force them to get there as soon as possible. So. Look, if they don't make it, it's not the worst thing in the world, but of course, they want to win the grand final, let's be honest.
And if you wind back last year, guys, as well, that North Ringwood and Montrose were top 2 teams. They were the best top 2 teams all year throughout the home and away season. Obviously, North Ringwood got knocked out by their opponents of today's game in the first week. But I must say, though, I think you're right. I think North Ringwood's game is very similar to Montrose in a lot of ways, that they both like the running game. They both have strengths in the ruck. They also have strength in that back line and really stop the opposition scoring goals. And I think, we saw Montrose this year really rise to the occasion, finishing 3rd position. I think North Ringwood will have that same aspect of their game to challenge the lights in the top 5 in particular.
Just quickly touching on the last time these two sides met, it was the Choose Tap semi-final in Division 2. North Ringwood prevailing comfortably 17-15, 117 to Croydon 7-8-50, a 67-point victory overall, underpinned by an 11-goal to 6 second half. Look, the Saints obviously have that advantage. They held Brendan Wienert to 1 goal. I think that was a key factor. They limited and nullified the scoring power, and they seem to be, I suppose, adapting to 4-quarter performances. They can have the ability to run out games and continue to comprehensively defeat sides, and that's one of their great strengths. Yeah, fantastic strength. I look at every quarter. They won every quarter in that clash against Croydon, but most importantly, it was only 31 points at half time, but it very quickly became a 10-goal margin at 3-quarter time. So their 3rd quarter, they really exercised it as a premiership quarter to put Croydon to bed quite early in that game, and that's certainly what North Ringwood would be looking to do, putting them to the sword early, not giving them away back in. Whereas for Croydon, they're just going to want to get in the face of North Ringwood, trying to get them off their guard, try and keep the margin close, and they'll feel, in a close game, they'll feel more confident of taking the victory. And also, like, Rory Harbeck was named one of the best players in that game, and he's been a stalwart of this
club as well, and he knows what it takes to win a premiership, and he loves North Ringwood. And look, I think he's actually going to be the key player in today's game. There's no doubt in my mind that if there's a game to be won, he'll be there to pop up and really show what he's we all know he's made of, because I remember, I think it was 2-3 years ago in the Division 3 Choose Tap Grand Final out at East Build, he was the main difference in that Grand Final, which got them over the line against Glen Waverley. And I think if there's one play that Croydon has to stop, it's got to be Rory Harbeck. He's a bit of an anywhere man. He can play back.
Versatile.
Yeah, he's versatile. He's the classic utility footballer. Can play defence, midfield, forward. Probably won't see him pinch hitting so much in the ruck. But, he's a bit of everywhere. He's the everywhere man. And definitely one to mention. But I look back to that game and the goal kickers that they had. They had 12 different goal kickers, Damo. So, they've got a host of options. We talk about the why-not factor for Croydon, but the multitude of options that the Saints have, it's certainly going to be difficult for Croydon to focus on any one player, because any one player for North Ringwood could bob up and kick a couple of goals for them.
Well, there certainly is a plethora of goal kickers and players to choose from for North Ringwood. Let's change tack for a moment. Croydon are just entering the arena here at Torball Reserve in Baronia, looking primed and pumped up. I'll set the scene for you here at Torball Reserve. It's a picturesque afternoon. The Dandenong Rangers provide a beautiful backdrop, brimming, I suppose, with confidence. It's a great, portrait of an atmosphere and the ambience of local football, and it highlights what should be a fantastic afternoon. There's blue sky, and hardly a cloud in the sky, really, and great conditions for a sensational game.
I liken it to Cape Town and Table Mountain, sort of giving that beautiful backdrop when we watch the cricket. So very similar atmosphere for what you'll see today.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure if you can compare it with Cape Town, the Dandenong Rangers, but it's still very imposing.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Well, Croydon, of course, they know a lot about the Dandenong Rangers. The suburb is set in the foothills of that particular area. I'll tell you what, they'll have the pride of Croydon right on the line this afternoon. The Blues looking to elevate themselves back into Division 1.
And, of course, Croydon, they'll be hopefully to get at least a premiership on the table. Of course, last night their netballers unfortunately fell short by 19 goals last night at the netball against Baronia, actually. Funny enough, Baronia gold. So, unfortunately, Croydon, they've got to have to win a cup, and they've got 2 chances to do it. They blew one. Let's see how they go today.
One stat worth mentioning that they haven't yet is Croydon in their 3 games against North Ringwood haven't had any more than 5 goal kickers. Okay. So if they're going to win today, they're obviously going to need to improve that. But do we see that there's too much reliance on Wynett in terms of the forward line? So does that mean there's going to be having to be some midfielders come forward and kick some goals and help out?
Well, perhaps they don't have enough to compensate for them down forward, so yes, they might have to resort to that option.
Here's the thing, though, and I think you're right. If they're going to push forward and have midfielders kick goals, then if they turn the ball over, they're going to leave their defence exposed when North Ringwood on the counter-attack. So they've got to be smart, the Croydon midfielders. If they're going to push forward, they've got to be able to run both ways. So that's going to be a primary focus for Croydon today.
It means Ficcarelli might be an important player for them, because he's probably a bit like I said, the James Dean of North Ringwood.
Yes.
He's similar, except Ficcarelli either has really good games and kicks goals, or he has matches where he doesn't really touch the ball for the whole game. So he's a key player. I think if they win, he kicks 3 or 4 goals today.
And it's all in I think the main thing in today's game is the midfield. Whoever gets those clearances in stoppages and put it inside their forward 50 at the most will win this game. Because, look, if it goes to Wynett for Croydon and he kicks a couple, that could Croydon might have advantage. If he doesn't get any goals and goes down North Ringwood's end and they get a spread of goal kickers, game over.
Well, I think Croydon have focused on contested footy a lot. Well, no, not so much focus. They play to their strength of contested footy. And I know for North Ringwood, that's a focus, particularly for them. They'll want to win that contested footy and not give Croydon a chance. So if Croydon can play to their strength and give Wynett first use or the Ficcarellis or other players of that nature, then Croydon give themselves a chance.
Well, the crowd welcoming North Ringwood onto the arena now. As we can see, if you're watching on the stream on EFL.org.au, there's a multitude of options, a lot of variety in terms of the body stocks and everything in that aspect of the game. There's a lot of small players, a lot of depth there, but also in the tall department they have a lot of options as well.
Yeah, they certainly do have a lot of options. Look, we've named the names already, but that's probably the one great thing about both these sides, but also particularly North Ringwood. They've got the talls, they've got the smalls. There's no reliance on any one player, and that's the key focus for them.
Well, we thanked Connor Ryan before for joining us, thanks to Leader Newspapers. Now stepping into the special comments chair this afternoon, Doncaster East coach and Premiership coach on this ground for Heathmont, Steve Buckle. Thanks for joining the coverage, Steve.
Thanks for having me, boys. Yeah, it brings back special memories.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you about that. Obviously, you've been here before on this ground only 3 years ago as the coach of the Heathmont Football Club. You were victorious after an extra time, highly intense extra time game against the Glen Waverley Hawks. What's that feeling like, that feeling of jubilation and ecstasy?
Oh, that's it. It's complete euphoria, especially to do it the way we did it, and going into extra time. And I suppose the underdogs, pretty much all through the final series, we had to do it the hard way. And but it's definitely worth the reward. All the hard work that you put in through the pre-season, the season proper, and then through that final series was fantastic.
North Ringwood coach Brett Moyle joined us on the Sports Pass warm-up. He says there was still that element of nerves, although he looked calm. There's still that element of nerves for the coach. Do you find that, however you try and compose yourself, it's almost inevitable that the nerves are going to be there?
Oh, absolutely. I think they are uncontrollable nerves through final series, and especially into the grand final. It's makes it really tough, but you've got to try to hide that and try to temper that a little bit, because you can't show that to your players, because they're feeling it as much as what you are, and you've just got to try to control yourself and try to keep them under wraps as well.
And not only does the coach have to control himself, but also his players. How do you, I suppose, keep them composed? It's a whole group. How do you keep them composed and focused on the job at hand? Yeah,
easier said than done. You've just got to try to keep them as relaxed as possible, try to keep their mind off the game. And I know we try to keep it a little bit light-hearted before the game, and just not try to focus too much on the game itself until it got close enough to it. Otherwise, the boys are just going to play the game out, in their heads before it's time, and go out there really flat. And we were lucky enough that worked for us, because we came out really strong. We won the grand final, and I think kicked the opening 4 goals of the game. So whatever we tried worked.
And do you think? Sorry, Andy, just to cut you off, but do you think that bringing in that element of normality helps as well? Trying to make it a normal game. I know it's hard to avoid because it's a grand final, but just emphasising normality.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's enough build-up during the week about it, and there's enough pressure coming in during the week, and the boys are really feeling it. So once you get here, it's just about trying to temper that, and I suppose keep a lid on it as much as possible, and just go about your business. And the boys are going to try to release that nervous energy, and you just got to try to hold, and then as soon as that opening bounce comes, just unleash then.
And Steve, we talked about the nerves, or controlling nerves before the game. What about once the game started? You say I've got to control the nerves. How do you control the nerves on the field? I
think you just slip back into your normal state.
Okay.
Once the game's underway, your focus is straight on the game. And about what you have to do, and your setups and your moves, and because, as you said, if you do let it get the better of you, then you totally lose focus, and your game's gone, your game plan's out the window.
We've obviously talked a lot about the mental aspect of it, but what about the physical aspect? Is it one of those things where you want to be, I suppose, getting or roughing the other side up early on to really give that physical advantage?
Look, I think you just want to state what you're all about for the day.
Yep.
And that's just being really hard and fierce at the contest and at the man from that initial bounce. I don't think you want to engage too much in the elbows and the wrestling straight off the bat, because again, that's just going to tire you out and take your focus off the game. So you really just want to focus in on what you're going to do, and it's really on the pressure's really on the midfield, that first bounce, and for them to set the tone for the rest of their teammates for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. Well, you boys have seen another of the final series of the Division 2 to make a concerted tip. Andy, who's your tip this afternoon and why? North Ringwood or Croydon?
I have to stick with North Ringwood. Not so much that because of the 3 games and the 55-point average margin that we've talked about, just because of the evenness of that side. I feel like there's no real weakness of them, whether they're in defence, forward, midfield, and I kind of see there's a few holes in the Croydon side, and I think that's got to do with injury. I think Croydon are quite a well-rounded, well-balanced side as well, but I just think North Ringwood have the mental edge and the competitive and physical edge for them to win this contest today.
And Steve, just quickly, obviously being a coach in this division for Doncaster East, who do you tip this afternoon?
Oh, look, I tipped North Ringwood, but I was very wrong in the last game, so I'm not sure you want to put too much weight into mine. I got it horribly wrong the Croydon-Mulgrave game, so but look, I think North Ringwood beat too strong. They've been the best team all year, so I think they should get the chocolates.
Let's head to Dyson Baker as the players line up.
Welcome to Tormore Reserve in Baronia for the Division 2 Senior Tuesday Grand Final between North Ringwood and Croydon. North Ringwood finished the home and away season in first division on the ladder with 14 wins and 2 defeats. Croydon finished the home and away season in second spot on the ladder with 13 wins and 3 losses. These two teams met twice during the 2014 home and away season. In round 9, North Ringwood by 36 points, and in round 17, North Ringwood by 62 points. North Ringwood progressed through to today's Tuesday Grand Final with a 67-point win over Croydon in the second semi-final. Croydon progressed through to today's Grand Final with a 38-point win over Mulgrave in the preliminary final. Best of luck to both sides. Introducing our officiating umpires. In the field, Daniel Wild, Nathan McDonald and Wayne Duke. On the boundary, Brenton Dixon, Leah Young, Jake D'Angelo, Jesse Harwood, and in the goals, Chris Jones and David Parker. Your emergency umpire is Jason Gillow. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem?
Well, a rousing rendition of the national anthem never fails to get the hairs standing up on the back of your neck, and that's the case for a lot of those players out there this afternoon. North Ringwood and Croydon fighting it out for the ultimate prize in Division 2 in the Tuesday Grand Final. Time to welcome to the coverage my co-commentator this afternoon, the broadcast manager of the Eastern Football League, Ben Warren-Smith. Ben, what a cracking day for football.
Oh, just waking up this morning, you got that really good feeling, didn't you? The sun was out, you knew it was going to be some good football played out here at Baronia today. The crowds come in masses. It's a fantastic venue to watch it. Still time to get down here. I'm excited for what should be a really good game of football. We've done to death the fact that North Ringwood have completely had it over Croydon right throughout the home and away season and in the first final. But grand final day, it's different, isn't it? It's a 50-50 chance, and I just expect this game to, and hopefully, to go down to the wire, don't I?
Absolutely. Steve, obviously, being there before, everything from the home and away season isn't relevant anymore. It's all up to those 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all out the window now. It's, as you say, it's all about the 120 minutes now and getting in, having a crack and putting your best foot forward for that time. There's no tomorrow.
Well, Alysia, Thomas, Sam and Jesse Failla are joining us ground level, and they'll be boundary riding this afternoon thanks to Lifecare. We'll head to them now. Guys, it seems like it's a fantastic atmosphere down there. How is it from your perspective?
Yeah, it looks fantastic, guys. It's a bright and sunny day. It's a picture-perfect field. Both teams look like they're ready for a cracking game.
Absolutely. Thanks very much to Jesse and Alysia down there, who'll be joining us with regular updates thanks to Lifecare. They'll be the boundary riders this afternoon, but we're all set, about to start the Division 2 Tuesday Grand Final. Two of the best sides from what has been an unpredictable season in 2014. It's North Ringwood taking on Croydon. A big crowd en masse here at Torbal Reserve in Baronia, providing a fantastic atmosphere and certainly does set up a grand contest. Everything in the season goes out the window. It's now down to the grand final. The start we've been waiting for, and we're underway. The Saints with the tap, and it comes down to ground level, taken by Dean. His kick was partially smothered. The Blues can intercept. Gang tackled there for Croydon was Grant, and we'll have a secondary bounce in the middle. Certainly a fantastic ambience surrounding Torbal Reserve. Picture-perfect conditions, as we've mentioned in the pre-match. Umpire again setting the ball in motion. A scrappy affair as a plethora of players try to extricate it from the pack. Eventually the Saints' numbers prevail. It's taken by Calquido. His kick out wide was partially smothered, but he has support in Scott, who can provide some run. Spearing ball inside 50. Falling out the back there is Van Unen. It's a race on. Croydon have the numbers. Falling to ground level there was Clark. Still a chance as a gang tackle is laid. Among them is Grant, and eventually we'll have a stalemate deep inside the forward line for North Ringwood, and they're looking attacking early. So almost a minute into the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Eventually the umpire setting it in motion. A free kick's been picked out. It's going the way of the Blues deep inside their defensive half, and the recipient will be James Grant.
And Grant got it away to his teammate out there in Wilkins. Dribbling kick. The first player to meet will be Anthony Sharp there. Winds around. He'll have to use the left there. The opposite, it was a good spot up too. Calcedo has had a fair bit of the football in this couple of first minutes. Short pass up towards the half-forward line. Nicely over the top there by Bolton to create the spoils right near that boundary line out there. But Croydon working in numbers. They'll get the little handball over the top. Bolton might be there to be able to pick it up. Dispossessed from the football was Tim Jones. The crowd call for holding the ball. The umpire said play on. Eventually a handball scooped out to Todd. He bangs it on his boot up towards the half-forward line. It was a good kick to touch in the end and gained a valuable 40 or 50 metres or so, and the ball's up on the half-forward line now for the Croydon Football Club. 2 minutes gone, either side yet to score.
Obviously the nerves will be a big factor early on.
Huge nerves will be obviously a factor in how they deal with it. Already you can see the tackling's an absolute premium in that the person possessing the ball doesn't have much time to obviously make use of it.
Well, copying one incredibly hard was Jack Whelan and himself and Jimmy Grant. I think a bit of a clash of the heads there. Two very tough footballers. So just waiting for the ball to be paid, and the free kick will go to Jimmy Grant now, and he swoops it over the top there to Wilson. He might have the first genuine shot on goal here. The short pass is on, getting down low, Brendan Weiner, and he was tripped in the end. The umpire's got to have seen that one, and the big full forward will go back and have the first main shot on goal and hopefully put through for his side the first major of the day.
That was good attacking play there from the Blues, I should say. Obviously on the outer side of the ground, they're using the lines well.
Yeah, the Blues are certainly using the lines well, and as I said, this man here, Weiner, if you can get the score on the board nice and early and get involved in the goals, then Croydon give themselves every chance. He's a huge factor in this game.
Dominant player for the whole season. And it's these big names you need to stand up in big games. He comes in now on the left boot. He makes the umpire work for it. I think he might have stuck this one through for the first goal on the board to the Croydon Football Club. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 3 minutes into the first term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final, it is the Blues. 1 straight 6. North Ringwood yet to score.
Well, that's a fantastic start for the Blues, Steve. First blood, it's always important in a grand final to settle the nerves, and a goal does just that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Croydon are trying to isolate Weiner down deep. All the players moving out. Even Ficarelli was right up the top, and it looks like he's going to turn around, try to get right under his feet.
Croydon with the first goal on the board on the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final in 2014, but the Saints go forward for the centre clearance. A chain of handballs, eventually they ruffle it forward. Chasing after it is Shield. He gets down on hands and knees. Hand pass comes out to Sharp. He's claimed, and the Blues eventually turn it over across half back. Taken by Weeks. His hand pass, well, it was into no one in particular, but it eventually found his teammate in Travers, and a couple of players dive on top of the football. In fact, Travers was picked up and slam tackled to the ground, and I think he's going to receive the free kick. No, it's going the way of the Saints, and the recipient there looks as if it is Whelan. He gives the hand pass off, a long raking probing ball inside the 50. Mark almost paid. Umpire calls play on. Tackled there was Van Oonen. It falls to ground level. Hand pass looped out the back. Again, the Blues have the numbers around ground level. Taken away by Volta. Eventually gets the hand pass on to Bolton. The hand pass eventually comes out on half back to Martin. They're still messing around with it, but eventually a kick comes towards centre wing. Flying high at the front there for North Ringwood was Jones. He couldn't quite judge the ball effectively, and the Blues get the numbers back to lock it in, and we'll have a bounce on the outer wing at Tormore Reserve between centre wing and half forward for the Croydon Football Club.
Particularly notice the entries of North Ringwood are under a lot of pressure, and they're quite scrappy as well. The Croydon defence are holding firm at this stage.
Tap one at the back for North Ringwood by Meltzer. He's been a fantastic servant all season. Grant over the top of the football. The umpire's blown the whistle, and eventually North Ringwood moved away through Scott. Sends a high ball towards centre wing. Punch from the front came from Harbeck, and we'll have a throw in right on centre wing on the outer side of Tormore Reserve.
5 minutes gone. It's a hot footy early. Green will go up, flying high over the top. There was Fenton. It came down. Calcedo backwards to go forwards. North Ringwood still looking for their first real genuine shot inside 50 here as Fenton was dispossessed of the football. Got the handball away to Wood. Now this is okay. They kick up towards the centre half forward direction. Or they almost do. Little handball over the top there to Sharp. He's going to be an important cog today for North Ringwood. The kick goes inside forward 50. Van Noonan was there. He hit the deck at the crucial stage. Mopping up nicely at the back there was Bolton. Has one bounce, has two. He's screaming for some teammates to come out onto the broadcast side and the members wing. Little handball over the top was okay. Thompson gave the don't argue, then the short pass was on, but it was beautifully intercepted there by Tom Hill. He'll swing around on the right boot at centre half forward, standing all by himself. Sharp, I talked about him a minute ago. He's got to put this one through, and he pushes it to the right hand side. So first minor score on the board for either side here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 6 minutes gone here in the first term. It's a 5-point margin to Croydon. 1 straight 6. North Ringwood 1 behind.
So the Blues lead it by 5 points. Early going in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. A lot of physicality shown early, but the Blues probably settling the better at this stage as Wilkins marks at centre half back. He looks to the outer side and Bentley runs on. Sends a spearing ball towards centre wing. Over the intended target in Van Florenstein. Falls to ground level. The Saints have the numbers. Hand pass eventually comes out to Dean. And the kick towards centre wing. And an umpire has blown the whistle. It's a free kick. And it's going the way of the Saints between half back and centre wing. And it looks as if the recipient there at the back is perhaps Weeks on the half back flank. So Weeks chips the pass towards centre wing, but the pass is obviously chopped off. A brilliant interception there by Top for Croydon, and he can send the Blues into attack. Sends a long ball towards the half-forward flank. Falling out the back there is Weeks to effect the spoil, and the Saints are eventually away on the counter-attack through Melzer. Melzer sends a dribbling ball. It wasn't an effective kick, but it gains some meterage. Charging at the football is Martin for Croydon. Forces it to ground level. They're in the centre of the ground. Hand pass comes to Travers. Sends a looping ball. Didn't gain much distance, but found its way to centre half forward. Chasing after the football there is Thatcher. Eventually swings round. It's Ficcarelli on the left foot. Sends a dribbling ball into the pocket. Chasing after it there is Fielding. And eventually he's claimed, and North Ringwood have the numbers, and they can send a clearing kick towards half-back.
And a bouncing football towards true centre position. You can hear the crowd getting amongst that one, knocked over for a boundary. Thrown right in front of Paul Newlands at the Croydon bench. Gone almost 8 minutes here in the first term. 5 points is the margin. Croydon with the only goal on the board thus far. The umpire throws it in. Van Florenstein took it unopposed. Got the handball away now. It's been picked up by Travers. He'll send it out wide to Bolton on the right boot. Kicks the ball inside forward 50. The kick wasn't too crash hot. Hoffman was made to work very hard for it, and over that she goes for a boundary throw-in seen by Heath Decker, the helicopter man of the Eastern Football League.
Helicopter Heath.
As the umpire brings it back in. It's deep in that Croydon forward line, but North Ringwood will get the chance to clear now. Bouncing football. It was nicely knocked off there by Bentley for Croydon, but then it was picked up there by Hill in towards the middle of the ground. His handball when he might receive the 1-2 here. Instead it's Jason Sharp. Ran himself into a fair bit of trouble and dropped the football there, so they'll pay advantage. Paid. It was the tackle there by Thatcher up towards the half forward line now for Croydon. Just slowing things down at the moment, Nathan Haig. He'll wind around on that familiar left boot of his and kick it inside, looking for the Todd direction. He stands strong. Melzer at the fall. The ball got a little handball over the top. That was handy. And now the Saints will get out of trouble here as the kick goes up towards Harbeck. And he judged the football nicely. Takes it out, lace out in towards the middle of the ground. Got it towards Calcedo, on to Jason Sharp on the right boot. There's 2 kicks that have let himself down there, but gets it across to brother Anthony, who has time to kick it back in towards the middle of the ground where Calcedo might be able to take off here, but he takes the mark coming on Jack Whelan. He's screaming for it out wide. He's still by himself across the half-forward line if he can get spotted up here. He's run himself into a bit of trouble, Calcedo, but eventually Dean made some space and he now can take off. Jimmy Dean from 55 metres out, set sail towards the goal line. It's about 10 metres out, standing strong and almost pulling it in. That time was Fenton, but Jimmy Grant was there. He's a cool, calm, collective footballer. Handball over the top to Bolton. He's under an enormous amount of pressure and he might even get paid for deliberate here, and that's exactly what it was too. Good call by the umpire. He just tried to fool everybody, but he didn't do a good acting job. The kick goes inside by D to the top of the goal square and Fenton. Well, he just had to stand 2 feet in the end and he took the mark. The flyers were coming from out the back. No spoil came and he takes the mark about 20 metres out from goal. Very hard angle though, Andy.
Very tough angle there, but great play from North Ringwood. The game's been very congested, and as soon as the game has opened up a little bit, North Ringwood have flourished, so Croydon need to keep it congested.
Difficult pocket to kick a goal from this one, especially for a right footer. He has to connect well for North Ringwood's first goal of the afternoon. That is an absolute beauty. Straight over the goal umpire's head. That's his first of the afternoon. That's North Ringwood's first, and they gain the lead as well. 1-1-7 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Croydon 1 straight 6. 10.5 minutes gone. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap match stats.
Inside 50 started off 5-1 in favour of North Ringwood. Croydon had the next score before that. One inside 50 for North Ringwood. Croydon's tackling pressure being very good so far. 9 effective tackles, with North Ringwood already having 20 handballs and 24 kicks, so perhaps handballing a little too often so far.
17-year-old Aaron Fenton scoring the first major on the board for North Ringwood in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Youth can override experience. Back at the centre, the Saints again winning the tap out and the clearance. It comes towards the half-forward line, jumping up for the ball there is Scott. He's forced to ground level. Fenton again, rummaging his way through, but Croydon numbers prevail. Wilkins is tackled, gets the hand pass out to Bolton. He's gang tackled by a couple of Saints, and they force a stoppage 60 metres around from the North Ringwood goal on the western wing at Torbor Reserve.
I'd imagine, Steve, that's the type of tackling you'd be proud of if you're a coach that North Ringwood just possessed.
Absolutely. 2, 3, 4 efforts then by Fenton as well. For a 17-year-old, that's fantastic.
Well, Whelan dives on top of the football, and it looks as if he's given away a free kick for a high one, and it'll be a Croydon free. And the recipient looks as if it's Josh Bolton on the half-back flank.
He's here to play today, Josh Bolton.
So from right half-back, Bolton sends a long ball towards half-forward in the equivalent position, but again chopping it off, and a brilliant uncontested mark taken there by Jones between half-back and centre wing for the Saints. Jones kicks along the boundary line, looking there for Fenton. It falls over his head. In fact, that was done standing tall, and the umpire has blown the whistle for a push in the back, so it'll be a North Ringwood free kick from centre wing, and the recipient is that man in Dunn. So Curtis Dunn, a tall forward with a great leap, sends a long ball inside the attacking 50. Croydon have the numbers, however, and a brilliant mark floating in from the side from Thatcher for Croydon, and he can clear for the Blues.
So Thatcher would drive it out towards the Wynert direction on the wing position. Oh, standing in the back and taking an absolute ripper mark again. There was Jones' handball over the top to Whelan. He in turn put his teammate under a lot of pressure there in Curtis Dunn, who was ripped over the boundary line and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. We've gone 13 minutes in this first term. It's a 1-point game. North Ringwood have the lead, 1-1-7 to 1 straight 6. A free kick against Cam Van Florenstein. No, in fact, it's going to Cam this time in the ruck contest against Jaden Van Neunen. So, Van Florenstein, kick up towards the wing position. North Ringwood really did seem to have the numbers there. Grant's over the football. He'll see it back to the boundary, to the field umpire with Lachlan Todd. A bit of argy-bargy, but nothing untoward.
Grand final.
Nothing untoward. To restart now. Decker had the front spot. We'll give that one to Hinsupi over the top there. Haig, handball really went into no man's land, but the ball drifts up towards the half-forward line for Croydon. Standing alone, Bolton. As I said, he's getting right amongst the football. The short pass goes inside forward. Piccarelli! Well, he made it look a lot harder than what it was in the end, but coming in and having his eyes only for the football, pulls it down and copping one for his troubles on the way through. He'll kick from 45 metres out directly in front. It's a distance that's probably just within his range.
Yeah, certainly it's a distance that is just within his range. I think he could kick it. Croydon have just handled the occasion better so far. I'm really pleased for the neutrality of this contest, so we'll see how Ficcarelli goes here.
Had a super season, Justin Ficcarelli. He winds up from just on the paint and he makes the umpire work too far to the left. He certainly had no trouble with the distance there. Minor score is the result. That's Croydon's first of the afternoon. 15 minutes gone in the first term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final, and scores are level, 1-1-7 apiece.
So the Saints to clear from their defensive zone through Max Meltzer, the designated kicker. He's been a fantastic servant all year. The skipper of the club sends it straight down the middle through the corridor to centre half back, and a great mark is taken by Decker of the Lincoln variety. He plays it and switches the transition out wide to the eastern wing, and the mark is taken by Hill for North Ringwood. So Thomas Hill sends a probing kick towards the half-forward line. A pack of players converge. Diving over the top for Croydon was Bentley. Forced it to ground level, and eventually it trickles over for a throw-in in front of Price on the half-forward line for the Saints, western side of Torbor Reserve. So a throw-in. Scores level at this stage. Early going in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Falls out the back of the stoppage. Smother effective, but Croydon have the persistence to move it forward. Hand pass comes eventually to Hoffman. He drives it through the middle. The kick towards half forward. Again, Decker of the heat variety, gaining the front position, forcing it to ground level. The Blues have the numbers, however, across half forward. Weeding his way out of trouble as Wilson shoots towards goal, and it's across the face to the right for a minus score. But Croydon gain the lead. They're 1-2-8, leading North Ringwood 1-1-7. We've gone 15 minutes in the first term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I think North Ringwood's half-back flank has just got to work harder. Croydon seem to be getting a little bit too much of the ball, enjoying a little bit too much time on that half-forward line, and they're getting easy shots on goal, so North Ringwood would want to tidy that up.
Well, it's quarter time in the Division 1 preliminary final, and it's Vermont leading by 13 points at the first change, 33-20 at this stage, as North Ringwood once again make their way through the middle of the ground. Here's Jimmy Dean. He charges. The bounce just didn't work favourably for him, but he's classy enough to switch it across. It wasn't Dean in the middle. It was Sharp, because Dean's got it now across the half-forward line. He'll swing around now. These two work beautifully together all season long. He just pops it up in the end. Calcedo might come from the fly over the side, but Byes pucked out a free kick. Mark was taken there by Green, but I think the Harbeck will be the recipient, so a little bit of shepherding off the football there, it may seem, and he'll have a shot on goal from about 30 metres out directly in front. So 1-2-8 plays 1-1-7. They want to be giving away free kicks inside your defensive 50, that's for sure. As Harbeck comes in now, you'd back him in from here. He kicks hard at the football. He kicks straight at the football. That's his first of the afternoon. North Ringwood have 2 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross 17 minutes in this first term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. 2-1-13, the Saints. The Blues 1-2-8 as we cross to Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap match stats.
Interesting in the clearances that North Ringwood have won all 3 out of the centre, but at the stoppages, Croydon have won 7-3 and lead 7-6 overall.
So North Ringwood kick clear with the second major of the afternoon. From the Saints' perspective anyway, they lead by a slender 5-point buffer. So they certainly have settled after some early jitters. Back in the middle. Rucks go at it, and Croydon wins the tap through the aid of Tim Green, forces it to ground level. Pack of players dive on top of the football. They're unable to extricate it. Eventually it's paddled forward, still around that centre wicket area. Picked up eventually for Clark. And eventually Croydon can move it forward. A spearing ball towards the half-forward line. Diving out in front of it there. Decker forcing it to ground level. He can run forward for the Saints. Kick towards centre wing. And a brilliant mark taken. Judging the ball the better there was Hill for North Ringwood. Swings it round, wheeling around onto the right foot into the pocket. The kick goes long, falls out the back. Harbeck, can he get boot to ball? No, he can't. Desperation from the Croydon defenders. On the last line of defence is Martin. Forces it, tries to lock it in into the pack. North Ringwood again have the numbers, but they're in a confined space. Tackled there is Murphy. Snap around the corner. It's high. It's hoisted towards the half-back line for Croydon.
Good
Punch
spoil.
forces out. Eventually a chance for North Ringwood if they have the players to move it forward. Brilliant tackle effected there for Croydon by Slattery, and the umpire calls for a holding the ball decision, and the advantage is paid, and it's moved towards the outer side of the ground on the half-forward flank. North Ringwood have the numbers again, but a tackle affected. Now a chance in the middle. Picked up by Van Unen. Kicks towards full forward. Forced to ground level. Reading the play the better there was Fenton. Forcing it to the goal square. They're just persisting here, North Ringwood, but again the Croydon defence being steadfast on the last line. A tackle affected. It's on the half-forward line for North Ringwood. A tackle eventually picked up by Hill. Kicked towards full forward. The players converge in the pack. No mark. It is held in the end. It's going to be paid. And the mark has been paid to Matt Scott. He took it on the second bite against 2 Blues defenders. And he could go back and have a shot from 30 metres out directly in front.
There's only so many times you can defend, and as grimly as Croydon, sorry, I said Carlton, as grimly as Croydon have defended, sooner or later there's going to come a time where North Ringwood or that offensive team will take a mark or will get an opportunity on goal, and Croydon just had to be a little bit smarter there when they got that free kick and not taking the advantage. So
Matt Scott will be lining up for North Ringwood's third major of the afternoon. He's 30 metres out directly in front, should have no problems. But he's drifted it out to the right, so only a minus score. North Ringwood 2-2-14, lead Croydon 1-2-8, and we're reaching time on in the first term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final Day.
You kind of feel like in the early stage of this game when it was played on Croydon's turns, they just didn't make the most of their opportunities. I think they'll be a little bit dirty on themselves for only getting the 1 goal in the early stages of the game.
Kimpton to Bolton, back to Kimpton, kicks the ball up towards the wing position, using his body nicely there was Whelan over the back, going in hard over the football, and not being rewarded there was Callum Fenton. You heard the crowd asking the question. Thomas Wilson right on his hammer and will have a bounce. True centre wing position out here at Tormore Reserve, picturesque conditions. The Dandenongs in the background and two fantastic football sides doing battle on the field. The kick forward there by Van Oonen inside the forward 50. Harbeck had the front spot. He go after it again. He might get boot to ball here. Swings around. Handball out wide. That works out in favourably there for Curtis Dunn, who bangs it on his boot. Can he push it back? He can't. Over to the right-hand side, so the third behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to the North Ringwood Football Club. They lead this one as we, in time on in the first term out here. 2 goals, 3-15 leads Croydon 1-2-8. The Blues to bring the ball back in. Asked to move things along now, and a good spot up there, and drop what he should have taken there was Thompson. So had a little bit of support there in Hoffman over the back, goes after the football. Van Unen's there to lay a tackle. Umpire will come in and bounce it. Jared Clark out there. He's a fantastic footballer in the back line. The long hair and the zinc. Throws it uphill, knocked it down. He'll gains the football again. His kick was smothered though. Croydon trying to clear it out through Travers. He was dispossessed of the football in the end. And be able to lay the tackle there on Jason Sharp, who spilled out the ball. It eventually comes out to Slattery. His handball was a bit of a hospital one to Clark, who then tried to knock it to his team's advantage, but it didn't work out that way. Little handball over the top. It's still a hot football. A lot of players around this pill now as Croydon look to get the clearing kick out towards the wing position. Bouncing football. It's got to bounce favourably there for Hoffman, and he paddled it to his own advantage, and he had a bounce too. He takes off here from Maxi Melzer. Keep going, son. Lachlan Todd from about 40 metres out. He pushed it across the face of goal. Wynant was there, and so too was Decker. Over the top of their heads they go. He was spent in the end, Lockie Todd. I did call him as Hoffman, but through it goes for a boundary throw in. It's still alive though as Clark made his way down. He stole it from the stoppage. He got boot to ball and he kicked it up to like Perler over the goal umpire's head. No. But he said he was tackled from the stoppage. He didn't give him enough time to get rid of the football. He was absolutely starved. In the old days that would have been paid every day of the week, and North Ringwood get the clearing kick out towards the Jack Whelan direction, but the umpire said I was right there and it's over on the full. So Todd will get another chance. He's 55 metres out this time. He might even be within range here. Just pops it up towards Ficcarelli. He aimed for the smallest player on the ground almost. I'm not too sure about that now. It's picked up by Hoffman backwards to go forwards. They'll link up okay through Volta's short passes on though. He was going after it. Todd on hands and knees. Picks himself up. Handball out wide. Jack Whelan picked it up to North Ringwood. It was stolen by Hoffman now. Kenny's figure out on the left. Kenny put an absolute ripper. What a cracking goal! That will lift your side. There's no doubt about that. Croydon, well, they trail still by 1 point, but this is game on out here in the Division 2 Choose-Tap Grand Final. 24 minutes gone, first term, and it's North Ringwood 2-3-15, Croydon 2-2-14.
They're the moments you call for, the moments where you want a bit of leadership, and Jamie Hopman, you did just that.
Yeah, that hurts North Ringwood, that one. The amount of possession that they've had throughout this first quarter and the amount of repeat entries that they've had, and they just haven't been able to get any scoreboard pressure on. Croydon go straight down the other end and put one through.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Lifecare.
Boys, it's just really interesting. Croydon really enjoying the open spaces, and you can hear them on the sidelines calling them to clear it out. So when the ball's getting so open spaces, there's one-on-ones, they're looking really dangerous.
Jesse Failla there, thanks to Lifecare. Boundary side, Croydon answering the challenge. They're only 1 point behind as we're back at the centre of the ground, and a free kick has been picked out of the stoppage, and again it's going to the Blues. So they certainly are first in for the football. The recipient there is Van Florenstein, gives the hand pass off, and a long probing kick towards centre half forward. Charging at the ball was Wynant. Hand pass eventually comes out. Standing start for goal by Hoffman. Kick across the face. Wynant again in the front spot against Decker. Retrieves the football. Swings round on the line. Kicks a miraculous goal! Fantastic play from Brendan Wynant, and that's his second major of the afternoon. Croydon, their spirits are lifted, their supporters have lifted, and they lead 3-2-20 to North Ringwood 2-3-15. And we go on 25 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a cracking Division 2 Choose-Tap Grand Final.
Again, guys, we called it in the warm-up and said leadership is where it counts, and that Croydon had to look at obviously multiple avenues. One of those avenues is always going to be Wino, and just kept the ball alive, used his strength, and what a goal by the big forward.
Paolacci throws it up now. Van Florenstein's in the middle there for the Blues. Handball out wide. They'll get the clearance here. Bolton's handball was smothered, so it was picked up there by Jimmy Dean, who winds around on the right boot inside forward 50. Standing strong there was Hill. The umpire said it was okay. Fenton, he went through his legs, picked up by Jason Sharp on the left boot, banks it inside forward 50. They need players at the fall of the ball here. Thatcher picked it up. He got the handball back, and now the Blues might be able to clear this one across the half-back line. It was a shank off the boot, but bounces favourably inside, and we'll have a boundary throw in 50 metres out from the North Ringwood goal line. 26 minutes gone here, 5-point ball game. Croydon, they started off with the first, and now they've regained the lead late in the term over the back and knocked over the boundary line and out of bounds. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Inside 50s, 15-10 in favour of North Ringwood.
So 2-3 plays 3-2, 5 points is the margin. Umpire throws the ball back in now. There was Anthony Sharp-Wheel and Jimmy Grant as well, laying a tackle. Van Florenstein, he was brought to ground. The big man umpire said it was okay, with big Lincoln Decker on his hammer, using his gridiron skills to pull big men down. Decker knocked it straight down the throat of Jimmy Grant, who had 2 players to contend in Whelan and Matty Scott, and we'll have another bounce, another stoppage. Half-forward line for North Ringwood. Quick restart. Van Florenstein knocked it to his own advantage in the end. Grant pulled off the football there from Scott. I said it was okay. Andrew Hughes comes in, the stalwart, and hands the football back to the umpire as we reach quarter time out here in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. What a fantastic game we are seeing so far. It is a 5-point ball game. Croydon lead this one 3-20 North Ringwood, 2-3-15. Brendan Wynern has 2 goals and Jamie Hoffman 1, while for the Saints, Rory Harbeck and Aaron Fenton are the goal kickers for them. Who can come out in the second term and take this game by the scrub of their throat? We'll find out in just a moment and come back with all those important scores around from the one venue today out of Bayswater Oval. Vermont taking on the Baldwin Football Club. Stay tuned on 98.1 Radio Eastern and EFL.org.au, and we'll be back in just a moment.
If I'm going to have a plumber come to my place, I want one that cares. So I use local H2 Pro plumbing. They communicate, arrive on time, respect me in my home, and execute with excellence. And they support Who Gives a Crap? Toilet paper that builds toilets and saves lives. Sign up at h2pro.com.au for 10% off every plumbing job for life. H2 Pro Plumbing, my local plumber who really cares. 9844 1444.
You could spend your weekend driving around to different car dealers, or you could avoid the hassle and head straight to Car City. Car City is like a shopping mall for car buyers. With around 40 dealers all competing for your business, there's simply no better place to drive a bargain. So save your money and your weekend. Come to Car City, just 2 minutes from Eastlink at 415 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood.
415 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood.
How would you like your coffin to look?
I'd like it covered with farewell messages from all my friends and family.
Can I get a picture of a beautiful sunset over the 12 apostles?
Make mine look like a smartphone.
I'd like black with a yellow sash and the words to the team song as well.
Well, at Tobin Brothers Funerals, anything is possible, including a custom-designed and decorated coffin to celebrate your life. To find out more, visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor. What was wrong with you blokes yesterday? You were playing like you'd been stuck in traffic for an hour before getting to the game.
Coach, there was a railway crossing gate down for ages.
The other mob thrashed us. You ran out of legs.
They all have breeze tags, Coach. They use Eastlink. They get to focus on the match rather than focus on inching forward in the traffic.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor.
Have you got a premiership or milestone jumper that needs framing? Is the better half nagging you to clean up the man cave? Well, you're in luck. As well as being Australia's largest licensed memorabilia dealer, the team at the Authentic Autographs also do custom framing. From the deep rebatted frame, the acid-free pins, the mount will not only look great, but won't damage your prize jumper should you want to relive the glory days. The team will also design a frame, including photos and all the important information, so you have no trouble bragging to the boys. Contact David on 0439 743 710. Authentic Autographs is Australia's largest licensed and authentic memorabilia dealer across all sports.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Archer, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league B&F, our B&F.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to EFL Game Day live from Tormore Reserve in Boronia. It's the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final and an unprecedented scoreline for many at the first change. Croydon leading the highly fancied North Ringwood by 5 points. It's the Blues 3-2-20 leading the Saints 2-3-15, but still 3 quarters to go, and we'll be intrigued as to what may happen next. Speaking of intrigued, let's head quickly around the grounds. Will Taylor, you got a score from the Division 1 preliminary final at Bayswater Oval.
Yeah, well, at quarter time it was Vermont by 13 points. It is now back to a 1-point ball game at the moment out there at Bayswater Oval. It's Vermont 5-3-33, leading Bourne 5-2-32 halfway through the second quarter.
Let's head across to Grant Soupy Campbell for some Yarra Valley Water Choose Tap match stats.
In the first quarter, Croydon won the clearances 13-8. They won the contested ball by 2, uncontested possessions even. Inside 50 count though, 15-10 in favour of North Ringwood. Tackling pressure both good, 22-20 in favour of Croydon.
Let's head quickly just down boundary side. Thanks to Alysia Thomas-Sam, thanks to Lifecare, and she's got a guest from the Croydon Football Club.
Hi, I'm here with Paul Newland. So do you guys want to speak to him?
Yes, Paul. Paul Newland's down there at ground level. Paul, are you happy with the way the first quarter panned out?
Yeah, I think our pressure on the ball carrier was really good to our forwards and backs and our mids. I mean, all of us, we put pressure on the ball carrier at all times. When we turned over, we spread pretty hard, but I mean, yeah, it's only 1 quarter of footy. There's still a long way to go.
And just lastly, what did you tell your players at the first change?
Oh, just that constant pressure. We've got to maintain. That is what we just put out in that first quarter is our minimum requirement for the rest of the game. So we need to make sure that, yeah, if we do that for another 3 quarters, I think we'll hold ourselves in good stead.
Really appreciate your time, Paul. Good luck for the rest of the game. So thanks, Paul Newland's down there with Alysia Thomas-Sam. Thanks to Lifecare. Let's return back to Grant Campbell for some Choose Tap match stats.
No, that got through them all, but the tackling pressure which he highlighted was 22-20 in favour of Croydon. I've noticed just about every game this season that tackling pressure drops off for every side, so it'll be interesting to see if Croydon can maintain that for the remaining 3 quarters.
Super work, Grant. Thanks very much for your time there with the first quarter stats. Steve and Andy, you've been watching the game from the best seat in the house. Are you surprised by Croydon's dominance in this first term?
Oh, a little bit, yeah, because I think North Ringwood had more of the footy. Yeah. And they just their entries inside 50 just weren't great. But look, Croydon just absorbed that footy coming in, and then they got them on the rebound, and when they got their chance, they converted. So that's put the pressure back on North Ringwood now. But look, I agree with Andy before. When North Ringwood get out and run, that's when they're dangerous. When Croydon can lock things up and get numbers behind the footy, and then have it on their own terms, that's when they're going to score.
Yeah, the minimum requirement of Croydon is what is getting them in front, essentially. When North Ringwood don't have that time to possess the ball in the way they want it, then Croydon are going to fare better. And they've taken more opportunities as well. You'd have to look at a little bit of wastefulness from the North Ringwood side and say they could easily be in front. But as Paul said, there's still plenty of time to go, and we're all set to go here.
Underway in the second term in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. It's Croydon leading by 5 points and eventually trying to win the ball out of the pack is Green for the Blues, but a free kick's been paid and it's going the way of the Saints from the centre of the ground and will be taken by Jaden Van Unen. So deep in the centre corridor of Tormore Reserve. Van Unen called to play on, just got his kick away in time. It's a probing ball to centre half forward, but again the Tools standing up for the Blues and the mark taken by Thatcher at centre half back. He looks out wide towards the eastern wing at Tormore Reserve. Judging the play the better is Clark. Clark spears the ball towards the half forward line. The mark taken, hand pass, great linking of play and transition. Kick inside 50 from Wilkins, sends a long ball deep and a free kick's been picked out. It's going the way of the Saints for a push in the back.
It was against Justin Ficcarelli as the ball came inside the 50. He gave a little don't argue. Yeah.
So it's deep inside the defensive zone here for the Saints. And it looks as if a 25-metre penalty's been paid, so the free kick's going to be taken right at centre-half back.
He didn't throw the ball back to him on the full.
There you go. So just a bit of undisciplined play. We've seen it cost teams in the past. It's unacceptable on grand final day as the Saints move it towards centre wing from the front. The spoil affected by Hill. At ground level, the Saints have the numbers, trying to charge his way through as Jones. He's confined towards the boundary line and the umpire eventually calls for respite as a number of players dive on top of the football. We'll have a bounce between half forward and centre wing for North Ringwood. Brilliant crowd in force at Tormore Reserve, certainly taking advantage of the warm, sunny weather rather. In the middle of spring as Croydon eventually win it out of the stoppage. The kick forward came from Wilkins towards the half-forward line, but the mark has been taken on the half-back flank by Melzer for the Saints, and he can reload for North Ringwood. He's chipped the pass, finds his teammate in Sharp, who had a relatively quiet first term, but he's getting his hands on the football early in the second. Chips inboard, and you can get the sense that the Saints are trying to orchestrate an attack in a slow and composed manner. The mark was taken by Meltzer. Kick towards centre wing, and a brilliant mark in full flight, Thomas Hill, and he takes it outstretched. So Hill sends an intimidating ball towards the half-forward line. The pack converges. Croydon have the numbers in the air. Forced to ground level. Ficcarelli is claimed. Eventually the hand pass comes out at centre-half back. The Blues have time and space to orchestrate and instrument an attack. Hoffman's kick was smothered off the boot. Falls into the centre of the ground. Taken by Travers. Eventually gets the hand pass onto his teammate in Wilkins. Sends a long probing kick to full forward. Wide and in a one-on-one. Was held. Brilliantly crumbed. Stepped towards goal. Todd. And he's kicked it. Croydon have their fourth, and they edge to an 11-point lead. It's the Blues 4-2-26, leading North Ringwood 2-3-15. That was brilliant crumbing play. We've gone 3 minutes in the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
It all started before that, though. Their ability just to work their way through the middle, unimpeded, was a real feature of Croydon's play. And a lot of the Shepherds, a lot of the 1%ers, which is what I'm noticing, the Croydon players, they're working for each other. If they don't have the ball, they're making sure that they're not getting tackled. And I think they've settled early in this match, the better.
And another poor entry in there from Tom Hill then. He had blokes on in the middle and he decided to go long and bomb it in, and Croydon rebounded.
Great call, Damo. 11-point lead now to Croydon as the Saints try to work it out through Sharp out of the middle of the ground. The kick goes towards the Fenton direction. And on the second bite, he pulls it down and he'll have a shot on goal. This is the quick reply they were looking for. He'll kick from about 42 metres out, almost directly in front.
He's turning it on, the teenager.
Very important game. He kicked 1 goal in the first term. That was in play. This is from a set shot, though. Aaron Fenton, one of a number of sets of brothers out here today, will cross the 50 out here now, and he pushed it to the right, and it stayed that way the whole way through for 1- score. Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 4-minute mark of the second term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. It's a 10-point lead out here to the Croydon Football Club. 4-2-26 plays a 2-4-16. So the Blues to bring it back in now through Lovett. Short passes on it. It seemed a little bit risky to Kimpton, but he got down low and pulled in the mark. Off the side of the boot, the kick goes, though, out of bounds on the full, and Matt Scott will get a chance for North Ringwood to send the ball back into that 20-metre danger zone. The short lead is on. Jack Whelan goes up. He almost copped one in the back. The umpire said play on. Nicely picked up there by Bolton. Handball over the top, working well with Travers out wide. Now the Blues go. The kick goes up towards the wing position, towards the Hague direction. Knocked away from him on that time by Fenton. Backwards to go forwards. The Blues a scrambling kick. Now it's Hague on the left boot. That's his favourable side. Beautiful kick inside forward 50. Lachlan Todd takes the mark, who just kicked the last goal in this match. He'll go back from... Well, he's almost on the 50-metre arc. Doesn't look too confident. Waiting for options to stream down, which there are a lot at the moment. A lot of players inside this forward 50. But Todd to go back for his second goal in a matter of minutes. Starts his approach. He'll kick from the 50. It's going to sit up at the top of the goal square. The big fly over the back. Sharp. And the fall of the ball. He's done that well today. He's reading the football. Bouncing football over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right in front of the members' wing here. Half forward line now for the Croydon Football Club, leading this one by 10 points, 5.5 minutes into the second term. North Ringwood, they're looking to get the second goal. They need it.
They certainly do. 10 points in arrears. Still plenty of time to go in this game, however, as the throw-in is affected. The Saints have the numbers. Kicked out of the pack there by Calquito. Kicked towards half forward. Eventually at hands and knees, a brilliant hand pass affected by Martin onto Thatcher, but he was stripped of the football. Ficcarelli between half-back and centre wing is claimed by his opponent there in Whelan, and will have a bounce between half-forward and centre wing for the Croydon Football Club, and they're looking ominous in this second term. Ball up, tap one by Decker, forced to ground level. That was Scott in the thick of the pack, and a bit of a infringement there, a push at the back and a free kick going the way of North Ringwood, and the recipient is Whelan.
I think it's Calcedo.
In fact, it is Whelan.
You're right, mate.
So Whelan between half-back and centre wing for the Saints. They need, you get the sense, a steadier just to calm the nerves early in this second term. Whelan kicks towards half-forward, but again bombing it high, and all Croydon at the fore of the ball. Eventually trying to force his physical dominance there as Travers, and a tackle is affected brilliantly. It will have a bounce. That was brilliant play there. Van Unen was claimed, and will have a bounce between half-forward and centre wing for the Saints. Tap one at the back by Van Unen. He was an uncontested winner in the ruck, but Croydon winning the clearance once again. Off the side of the boot there from Clark of Croydon towards centre half forward. It's a fickle bounce, and North Ringwood will favour from it. They'll benefit. Move it through the corridor. Kick towards the centre. Mark taken by James Dean, who was prominent early. Dean wheels round onto the right foot. Kick towards centre half forward. Again, Croydon have the tall timber, but at the fore of the ball, it's that man, Aaron Fenton. Shoots towards goal. There's the quick reply North Ringwood were looking for. They move on to 3-4-22. That's Fenton's second. Croydon 4-2-26. We got a 4-point ball game, 7.5 minutes into the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, you just felt Croydon sort of got lost in transition there when they turned the ball over at centre half forward. Their ability to push back there wasn't probably at its best, and North Ringwood capitalised. But on the non-preferred from 35 metres out, under a ton of pressure, what a goal by Aaron Fenton.
Super play. That's his second goal. Certainly standing up to be an X-player for X-Factor player this afternoon. Decker knocked down. Dean was dispossessed of the football from Slattery. Nice little kick by Van Unen, gained 20 metres or so. Volter overran the football, but Bolton was there for support, and he was pulled down in a tackle. Umpire said play on. Kick forward there by Martin on the wrong boot. Inside forward 50 at the back of the pack. Mark claimed by Tim Jones, and the umpire said, OK, you can have that one. Switch it out to Melzer, you would think, or Jason Sharp's out wider. That was a beautiful pass, a spearing pass. Didn't go any further than about 6 or 7 metres off the ground, but travelled 40. Sharp goes short. Mark taken by Fenton of the Callum variety on the left boot. It was another beautifully weighted pass. Jack Whelan takes it. What a fantastic season he's had. The kick goes in towards the hill direction in the pocket. Over the top it goes. And good pressure there by Shane Thompson. He's going to be right on the hammer there all day. That was Murphy that time for the Saints. And over the boundary line it goes. 25 metres out from goal. 4 points is the margin. North Ringwood got the last goal. Can they regain the lead here? 9 minutes gone in this second term. Over the back. It's picked up there by Van Unen. Brought to ground. And the umpire says hand it back, and we'll have another ball up. Jesse Failla, thanks to Lifecare.
Well, it was just interesting listening to Brett Moyle at the break. He was just really wanted his team to give the first option, and he was pretty happy with the middle 20 minutes, but wanted them to focus on the first 5 minutes and the second 5 minutes of the quarter.
Well, Wood kicked it across the face of goal over the top there of Dean. The first player to be out there will be Bentley for the Blues. It bounced okay up for him, but he was quickly wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce about 40 metres out from goal. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Interesting this quarter, North Ringwood 21 kicks and only 3 handballs.
Doing a great job as always, our main stats man, Grant Soupy Campbell, been with us all season. We've been blessed. There's a little fresh air shot, comes towards Andrew Hughes for the Blues. An experienced head will knock that through, you would expect. Benton stolen at the line. Little handball over the top. Which way can this one work? A snap-hold goal by Curtis Dunn. He couldn't have done the miraculous, could he? I think he's put it through. That is a fantastic goal. That's his first of the afternoon, and 2 quick ones to the North Ringwood Football Club to see them back in front in this Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. 4-4-28 the Saints. The Blues 4-2-26.
BWS, he called it perfectly. An experienced head like Andrew Hughes should be rushing that through from behind. At the first opportunity, just kill the ball and regain possession. He decided to keep the ball alive, and that was a poor decision in the end by the stalwart. In the end, it's North Ringwood kicking their 4th goal.
Fairness to Hughesy, I think he was trying to force it over. It was just momentum was pushing the ball the other way. Let's cross back down boundary side, thanks to Lifecare to Jesse Failla.
Well, the other thing that Brett Moore made mention of is that his forwards are getting sucked up into the contest, so he just wanted them to stay out of it, make sure that they were accountable.
So the Saints regaining the lead as it's back at the centre. The Blues with the clearance. A hacking kick forward in the Ficcarelli direction. The bounce was fickle for him. Stripped off the football there was Weeks for North Ringwood. The ball paddled along. Still a chance. No one can gain clear possession as they dive in for the football on hands and knees. It's between half forward and the centre for Croydon, and eventually the umpire calls for respite and we'll have yet another stoppage in the middle of the ground. Great atmosphere at Torball Reserve. Get down here if you're in the area for some cracking local football as the kick is hacked out of the pack by Harbeck for the Saints. Again, the Blues have the numbers. Hughes, the skipper, trying to recompose himself. Got the hand pass back to Thatcher. He was claimed. Eventually, the Blues try to regain possession, and again, it's Thatcher sending a spearing ball in the Ficcarelli direction on the half-forward flank. But the Saints have the numbers. Gaining it there is Whelan crumbing the pack. Sends a looping ball towards centre wing, but again, the Blues tall standing up, and it's Hughes, the skipper, taking the relieving mark. He looks inboard, but again he's turned it over, and Shield switches it off with the intercept, tries to weave his way round a couple of Blues, eventually got the hand pass back, looks inboard, taken by Lachlan Decker, spearing ball to centre half forward, 2-on-1 contest. The Blues have the numbers. At ground level, a chance for the Saints through Calcedo. He's forced to ground level, and we'll have a bounce right on centre half forward for North Ringwood, and you get the sense, boys, they might have their mojo back.
Yeah, and the forward entries are starting to be a little bit better as well. They're starting to lower their eyes rather than just bomb it in, and I think you're starting to see some different results. They're starting to get some scoreboard pressure.
Stolen by Slattery at the stoppage for Croydon, bangs it out wide. Justin Ficcarelli needs to bounce up for him. It does so. Turn his opponent inside out there and drums it up towards the half-forward line. Haig used his body beautifully, and the umpire said he was out of bounds as he was taking off as well from about 70 metres. So boundary throw in, far side of the ground out here at Tormore Reserve. It's a 2-point ball game. North Ringwood leading this one. They expected a cracker, and we're seeing it so far. Harbeck over the top there for the Saints. Had to basically do everything in the end. Banged it on his boot. Will find touch, you would think, on that far side. Lee Kimpton handball over the top. That was good play. Martin on the right boot up towards the half-forward line. That was a fantastic kick. Haig, who's really presenting this in this game so far. He'll swing around on the left boot.
25. Got the 25. He got the push after them, taking the mark. And, well, someone could have said that was momentum, but I think he did get forced in the back after the mark was taken.
So Nathan Haag, he'll have a shot. He said he'll go to the forward pocket. Ficcarelli's in there. So just underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. He's a crowd favourite out here, especially amongst the Croydon faithful. And he'll go back to put his first on the board for the afternoon and regain the lead once again for Croydon.
Important kick.
Well, he's going for the banana here. A little bit tricky, Dicky, if you ask me. He probably could have gone for the drop punt and threw for one behind. Wasteful there from the Croydon Football Club. 13.5 minutes gone here in the second term, and it is a 1-point ball game. North Ringwood lead.
Is that a coach killer, Steve, when a player is so nonchalant with his shot on goal and does the check side when he could easily go with the standard drop punt?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and I would have thought that I would have been dirty at Haag for passing it off. He should have had the shot. He was in a better position.
Oh, Jimmy Grant's taken the mark from the kicky in the second bite.
And 25.
Popped one for his troubles. Daniel Wood wasn't happy about it, and he has been given a 25-metre penalty now. The angle is still very difficult here, but And talk about those wise old heads standing up in the big games. Jimmy Grant, he will have full focus here this afternoon. Of course, spoke to his old man Darryl in the pre-match. He'll be proud if he can put this one through, and I gave him every chance with the backing and over the for out of bounds on the full across the face of goal. So 2 let-offs there for North Ringwood. Croydon in the last couple of moments really peppering the goals as they clear the ball out now to the far side, Damian.
Flying high for the mark there is the Saints player in Harbeck, who's been instrumental all afternoon. A long ball from Sharp towards the centre wing position. Flying at the back there for the Croydon Football Club is Thatcher to effect the spoil, and eventually it trickles over the boundary line on the eastern wing here at Torball Reserve. Picturesque atmosphere out here at Boronia. It's not often you associate that with the suburb, but it really is a great local football scene. I've stolen that joke. Throw in at ground level, picked up by Whelan for North Ringwood. He's forced to ground level, and the umpire eventually will call for a throw in as it dribbles over, touched over the line. We'll have a throw in the identical position. Bit of a breeze advantage. It's blowing diagonally across the ground towards the southeastern direction. Throw in once again. It's won the tap there, Grant for Croydon, who kicked the last goal, but it's North Ringwood at ground level who gain possession, and they can link up through the middle, through the corridor. Swinging, looping hand pass was effective. Chance now for the Saints through Whelan. It's a despairing pass towards centre half forward, and the mark is paid to Thomas Hill, and he's about 55 metres out, perhaps just beyond his range, although with the breeze advantage, he might have a chance. So Thomas Hill. Been a pivotal focal point for the Saints. He looks into the pocket. It's a 2-on-1 contest. Big fly at the back, but it's all Croydon, and an uncontested chest mark is taken, and it'll be a free kick in any case to the Blues to be taken there by Trent Martin. So Martin, they switch the play across the ground. Bentley is going to be run down almost if he doesn't watch his back, but he has pace to burn, puts on the afterburners, and eventually gets the kick towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Jared Clark.
So Clark now kicks the ball further afield to the lead out there of Hoffman. Couldn't quite pull it in. In fact, it was Todd again at the fall. The ball picked up there by Jones, who had his head almost ripped off and receives a high tackle.
Just quickly around the grounds, Baldwin leading Vermont by 3 points, 7-3-45 to the Eagles 6-6-42. The Tigers have come back.
Oh, big game, big day of football. We knew it was coming. Wood takes the mark across centre half back there for the Saints. Kicks it along to Scott. Watched his back and then sent the ball out wide to Decker. Oh, here he goes now, Heath. Helicopter Heath kicks it up towards centre half forward. Over the top there of Clark's head. He got one handle on it. Dean at the fall. Kimpton's in there too for the Blues. He might have gone in a little bit too hard. It was certainly Tiggy Touchwood, but umpire paying that one, linking out wide there. The run of Daniel Price one way then the other. He got pushed as he kicked the ball in towards the pocket. He was looking for Jaden Van Noonan. Nicely done there by Hayden Lovett to see it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Boundary throw in about 20 metres out from the North Ringwood goal line. If you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live around the globe on EFL.org.au, Bolton was the big flyer, got the knockout and went into the arms of Travers, dispossessed of the football, comes out now to Whelan, but a free kick will go back to the Blues for a high tackle. 17.5 minutes gone here. They'll create the switch. Hughes was on. Instead, the kick goes up towards the Hoffman direction. Nice fly over the back there by Melzer to create the spoil. Hughes was there, as too was Daniel Price, and over the boundary line it goes. Right in front of the Croydon bench, Paul Newlands and the gang. Certainly, both coaches will be happy with the intensity of both sides. You really do get the sense it's a final today, let alone a grand final. Over the back there, well, Murphy got a handle on it, but no one was there for support. Jimmy Grant gave the don't argue, did a little pirouette and got the handball across the top there to Volter, and Nestisa bounced favourably for him, got it across to Wilkins, going to link back in nicely here. Here's Bolton from 50 metres out. He sets up a goal, and he pushed it to the left-hand side, but he got pushed as he kicked the football, so it'll come back, and he'll have another shot on goal, or is it downfield? So it's both umpires having a little bit of a chat, and it will come back to where the kick was placed.
I thought he was pushed as he kicked, as opposed to afterwards, so I think that's a fair enough decision.
Josh.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go for it, Damo.
Well, Steve, a great transition of play, though. That was exquisite play.
Yeah, absolutely. Linking through handball, coming back through the middle, the most dangerous part of the ground. But I think that's where North Ringwood are at their most dangerous as well. So whoever gets on top in the middle and starts utilising the corridor seems to be getting the scoring opportunities.
Well, I've never seen a bigger lead, an open lead from Brendan Weiner, but it was ignored. So now, because of that, Josh Bolton, the pressure is all on you. You must kick the goal. From outside 50, he pushed it to the left-hand side. It straightens up, but still sails through for a minor score. Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we almost reach time on here in the second term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. It is North Ringwood leading this one 4-4-28. Croydon 4-4-28 as well. They're not leading anything. It's all a tie. Alysia, Thomas, Sam, thanks to Lifecare.
Yes, Paul Newlands actually said that communication was the key to creating forward pressure, and that passage through the corridor was exactly that, and it just looked like they found their voice there.
Well, a gang tackle is affected on the half-back line for the Saints. It'll be another ball up. In fact, it's on their half-forward area, and it'll be yet another stoppage. So contesting the ruck there. Brilliant tap affected by Murphy for the Saints. It's forced to ground level, and we'll have yet another secondary ball up. But certainly the ferocity as well as the intensity has been impressive from both sides this afternoon. Tackling pressure's been a real attribute as the kick is hacked forward for the Saints by Whelan. Into the centre, a brilliant diving mark taken by Fenton once again. He's been a star, the 17-year-old. Between halfback and the centre of the ground. Looks out wide towards the western wing. Kick brilliantly chopped off. Great persistence there for the Blues through Volta. Volta streams through. Wheels round onto the right foot. Looks for the option. And the target is met. Sensational play. And the mark has been taken for the Blues by Tim Green. He can go back and have a shot. But what persistence by Volta.
Great persistence by Volta. He backed himself in to get the spoil. But most importantly, he kept his feet. He could have easily gone to ground there and thought he'd done his job. But the job was half done. Eventually mopped up his own spoil, got the kick off, and now they've got a shot pretty much directly in front.
In fact, it's Lachlan Todd who has taken the mark, so he can line up from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Wheels round onto the right foot. The kick is swinging back. It's home, and Croydon regain the lead to the jubilation of their supporters. It's the Blues 5-4-34, leading North Ringwood 4-4-28. We've gone 21 minutes in the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's head to Grant Campbell for some all-important Choose Tap match stats.
One stat Croydon would be very happy with is the marks inside 50. This quarter it's 4-1 in Croydon's favour. North Ringwood, on the other hand, better at the clearances, leading 11-6.
Boundary.
It's crossed down boundary side, thanks to Lifecare, Jesse Failla.
Boy, Sam Whelan seems to be in a little bit of trouble after that contest in the hands of trainers. Looks to be an ankle.
Green got that knocked down, Soupy. Travers, little handball backwards, that was okay. Croydon get the clearance once again up towards centre half forward, over the top. The little knock-on came, it was scooped upon there by Matty Weeks. He's been relatively quiet, but his kick was successful. Standing in front, Nick Murphy on the left boot now, sends the ball inside forward 50. That is a beautiful pass, just coming out nicely, Tom Hill. Well, he's presented quite well so far already in this first half. He's taken a few marks outside the arc, so now he can go back and have a genuine shot on goal for his first.
They're the type of entries they need, lowering the eyes like that and hitting somebody up.
Tom Hill, been talked about all year, a fantastic footballer. From 40 metres out, drifts the ball across the face. Is it going to stay in? Upstanding strong there. Jaden Van Noonan. Has the mark been paid?
Yes, it has. No, it's across the face.
No, out of bounds on the full. So, well, he certainly did claim it. A little bit of theatre for the crowd. Short passes on. Hughes takes the mark. Deep in the defensive zone. Teammate Patrick Travers takes it. Further wide to Trent Martin. Swing around on the right boot. Short passes on. Hughes again. Has eyes for the middle of the ground. He leads out towards the wing position. Short passes on there to Wilson. Made a little bit of a meal of it and just got boot to ball. Switches it across. Bentley was after it. He had to judge it in the end. Jimmy Dean came in hard to lay the pressure in there too. His Thatcher on hands and knees, and the umpire will come in and bounce it inside the centre square out here at Tormore Reserve. It's a 6-point ball game. Croydon lead it 5-4-34 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. North Ringwood 4-4-28. Pye throws it up again. Decker, little knockdown, going in really hard there was Whelan. He was almost rewarded with a free kick. Eyes only for the football, as we've come to expect from such a star footballer. Missed a lot of the season last year after heading overseas, but back in fine form this year for the Saints. Umpire was a difficult throw up in the end. Speaker, the devil, Whelan goes in after it. Van Florenstein, little handball out. Now it's a loose football in the middle of the ground. Handball over the top. The Saints are going to link up along the wing position here and drive the ball up towards the half-forward position. One-on-one contest ensues. Over the top of Martin's head it goes. In there too was Thatcher. He just was pretty content with giving the ball back to the umpire, then enforcing the stoppage, and umpire will bounce it across the half-forward line now for North Ringwood. Jason Sharp at the fall of the ball. Jimmy Grant picks it up and tried to fool the umpire, keeping it in, but to no avail. Hands it back now, 70 metres out. North Ringwood's end. Can they square the ledger? 6 points is the margin. This time the umpire throws it right over the back. It's picked up there by Anthony Sharp, who thumps it to the goal line. Bouncing football. It did a little bit of a wrong-un as well. Eventually over the top there of Tom Hill's head and through for one behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, moving North Ringwood to 4 goals, 5-29. Croydon 5-4-34. It's a 5-point ball game day, mate.
Indeed it is. It certainly has been an intriguing contest. Probably exceeded many expectations of EFL pundits as the kick in is brought for Croydon. Flying high for the mark there was Martin, couldn't quite bring it down. The Saints have the numbers at ground level. Quick kick there by Sharp towards the pocket. Croydon again having the numbers, but again it's picked up for the Saints by Dunn. Dunn swings round onto the left foot, a dribbling ball into the goal square. It pulls out the back. Brilliant improvisation and a goal from Thomas Hill. That's his third major, in fact his first major of the afternoon, and a bit of a how do you do in the background, but it doesn't matter because North Ringwood regained the lead. They're 5-5-35, leading Croydon 5-4-34 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, it wasn't easy for North Ringwood, but it was persistence that was the key there. They just kept forcing the ball forward, kept it alive. Good defensive pressure by their forwards, again, when they didn't have the ball. And I guess it was a bit of, well, it wasn't quite Joe the Goose, but it was sort of more fortuitous where Hill found himself and had all the work to do and did it. So great goal to Tommy Hill.
Half-time out of Bayswater Oval for the Division 1 Choose Tap preliminary final, and Balwyn lead it by 3 points, 45 plays 42. So Balwyn and Vermont going
hammer and tong.
Hammer and tong, head-to-head, tooth and nail. You name it, that's what they're doing. Ball back in the middle here, and a ripper game we've got on our hands. It's a 1-point lead to the North Ringwood Football Club, but it's going to be Croydon through Cam Van Florenstein to drive the ball up towards the half-forward line. It was a bit of an up-and-under kick in the end, scooped upon there by Sharp. He got boot to ball, that was okay. Jones, little handball backwards. North Ringwood working themselves up towards the wing position, judging the ball in flight beautifully there. It was Jackie Whelan, and he's created the switch as well. So just in the last couple of minutes, North Ringwood getting themselves back on top here. Jones on the right boot, sorry, that was Sharp that time. A scrambly kick. Up by Hill, switches it into the middle. Calcedo, who started off the first term in electric form, swings around now on the right boot, kicks the ball inside forward 50. It sort of just sat up in the end. Sharp overran the football, kicked inside there by Shield. It was an up and under kick, but judging it nicely there, Shane Thompson. He'll want to move the ball on quickly, and he does so now. Kick it up towards the Grant direction. Melzer in flight, went up for the Saints at the fall of the ball. Hoffman handballs over the top now, and now that could be away. Bolton, he linked up beautifully there with Travers in the middle. He could have probably kept going. Instead, he goes towards the Wynett direction. He was pushed off the football. The umpire said it was okay. Here's Hark, handball backwards to Todd. He was a cool head. He got it away to Travers. Travers brings it around his body, but he couldn't bring it far enough. And through for a minus score. Scores level out here at Tormore Reserve. 28 minutes gone here in the second term in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. 5-5, 35 apiece.
Well, obviously drawn score lines not foreign to grand finals at Tormore Reserve, as Steve would know. The kick in is affected and it falls to ground level. The umpire's going to call for a throw in. It's on the half-forward flank for the Croydon Football Club. Western side of Tormore Reserve.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Lifecare to Jesse.
Well, Brett Moyle would be pretty happy with that. He's one of the main things that he made mention of was getting numbers back to help out in the one-on-ones, and they were able to spoil that and just cause a behind there.
Well, you couldn't have asked for anything better. Scores are level out here at half-time in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. 5-5, 35 apiece. for Croydon. 2 goals each to Brendan Minor and Lachlan Todd, with Jamie Hoffman chiming in as well. 2 goals to Aaron Fenton for the North Ringwood Football Club. Singles to Tom Hill, who kicked a goal late in that term. Rory Harbeck and Curtis Dunn. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live around the globe on EFL.org.au. We'll be back after these few messages to talk about what happened in the first half, what's going to happen in the second half, and what's also happening out at Bayswater Oval right here on 98.1 Radio Eastern. This is EFL Choose Tap Grand Final Game Day.
Car City's website is awesome, but nothing compares to experiencing Car City in person. It's massive! A huge 10 acres bursting with up to 2,000 used and late model cars. Plus, Car City offers instant on-site finance, so you can have the car you want now. T's and C's apply. Check them out online, carcity.com.au, and make sure you visit to experience the huge Car City difference.
450 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood. I'm going to have a plumber come to my place. I want one that cares. So I use local H2 Pro plumbing. They communicate, arrive on time, inspect me in my home, and execute with excellence. And they support Who Gives a Crap, toilet paper that builds toilets and saves lives. Sign up at h2pro.com.au for 10% off every plumbing job for life.
Welcome to Tallmore Reserve for Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. The Eastern Football League would like to thank the following sponsors for their support in season 2014. Yarra Valley Water, Channel 9, Bendigo Community Bank, Oaks Draft, BJS Insurance Group, Connect East, Birchwood Gully Motor Group, SEN 1116 and Trojan Tools. Today the League recognises and supports the efforts of the Victoria Police Blue Ribbon Foundation, the work they do in honouring the memories of Victoria Police who have lost their lives in the line of duty. The major event each year is Blue Ribbon Day, which will this year be held on September 29 as a public day of remembrance for police killed in the line of duty. It is also an occasion when a grateful community can show their appreciation and support to all serving members of our police force. Today, players, umpires and officials will be wearing Blue Ribbon armbands, and the best on ground in the seniors, reserves and under-19 matches will receive a Blue Ribbon medal. Feeling thirsty? Choose Tap. And fill up your water bottle at Yarra Valley Water Hydration Station. Remember to tune in to 98.1 Radio Eastern FM for a live broadcast of today's Sydney game. Patrons should be aware that the Victoria Police will be conducting random breath tests at locations near to the ground today. If you are drinking today, please plan not to drive. For all the latest information on the EFL, head to www.efl.org.au. Follow the league on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you and enjoy going local for your footy.
Get a freeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots, program sponsor.
EFL TV is back and better than ever. Head to efl.org.au every Thursday morning to check out the new episode of EFL TV. EFL TV features weekly interviews with players and special guests. And the EFL media team always discuss all the big issues in the Eastern Football League. And you can get involved by voting for your favourite EFL player of the week. EFL TV, live and local for your footy every Thursday morning at efl.org.au. Own a smartphone and love the Eastern Football League? Then the EFL mobile web app is a must for you. Go to m.efl.org.au to access fixtures, results and ladders for all EFL grades. You can also receive live around-the-ground scores every Saturday afternoon right from the home of your home. And contribute to the mighty EFL forum while you're online. Download the EFL mobile web app to go live and local for your footy this season right from the palm of your hand. EFL.org.au is a must visit for the die-hard Eastern Football League fan. In our news section, check out the latest news, feature articles and video programs, including the Friday preview. Have your say in the EFL poll, tip against your mates in the Vibrania tipping competition, and voice your opinion on the might of the EFL forum. Best of all, you can listen back to any EFL video to go live and local for your
EFL Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve in Baronia for EFL Game Day. It's the Choose Tap Division 2 Grand Final, and I tell you what, you couldn't paint a better scene at half-time. 5-5-35 apiece between the two opponents in North Ringwood and Croydon. I think many people in the EFL were expecting a hiding in terms of North Ringwood prevailing, but Croydon have certainly stood up on the big stage, and we're set for a cracking second half. Make sure you stay tuned on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or stream live on efl.org.au for a grandstand finish. Speaking of grand, let's head across to Grand Campbell for some all-important Choose Tap match stats.
Good segue, Damian. The clearances in that second quarter.
You loved it.
North Ringwood won at 13-9. They had 10 more kicks, leading that 54-44. Getting on top in the contested ball just late, winning that 39-33. Croydon with the more handballs, 23-18, and one more uncontested possession. Inside 50 count, though, that's probably the key stat, because North Ringwood won at 15-10 in the first quarter, 14-10 in the second. That trend continues, and North Ringwood will win this game. But they haven't converted their forward entries into marks, because Croydon had 4 marks inside 50 to 2 in that second quarter. And do remember that Croydon were the best first and second quarter side and have historically dropped away in second halves. So they can't afford to start this third quarter slowly, or North Ringwood could run away with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, boys, it's been a very intriguing first half, many plots and subplots to dissect. Will Taylor and Andy Paolacci have been watching it in depth. Croydon, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if you guys were expecting it, but it was a fantastic performance, not only for their ball use and transition through the middle, but their tackling ferocity as well.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. The tackling ferocity and intensity have been such a feature of this game, and it has really stifled North Ringwood's ability to run through the middle of the park and use the ball, you know, in such a fluent manner that they normally do and expect as well. So that's definitely been a key factor in today's game. A lot of the time, you know, it's the perceived pressure by the North Ringwood players, expecting to be tackled or harassed or something of that nature. And kudos to Croydon, as Paul Newland said at quarter time, it's a minimum requirement of theirs as well. So great work. For North Ringwood, they've been okay. They've just got to lower their eyes when going inside forward 50, because they're letting themselves down when doing so.
Well, it's a cracking contest out here at Baronia, 5-5-30 apiece between North Ringwood and Croydon. Let's head across to another cracking contest in Division 1. It's a Choose Tap preliminary final between Vermont and Balwyn. Aaron Kirkby-Rodia is out there at the game. And Aaron, what's happening? It seems like it's a tight contest.
Yeah, look, it has been for the first half, but we're 4 minutes in and it's 2 goals this quarter to Vermont's 1, so Balwyn have skipped out a little bit, so it's back to 2 goals.
Okay.
But a bit of a disappointing second term there from Vermont.
Well, absolutely. It seems as if Balwyn are standing up, given Vermont had a 13-point lead at quarter time. The Tigers, they're obviously not immune to finals experience. They are certainly performing well, considering they're coming from 5th spot. What's the reasons behind their, I suppose, not necessarily dominance, but their performance this afternoon?
Look, it's probably just been ball use. They've been able to get space in front of their forwards. I mean, Broadhurst kicked 4 already. Luke Barker's kicked 2. Just in front of those bigger forwards, they're getting spaces where Chris Pendlebury's playing on Justin Van Unen, who's kicked 3 himself, but he's also chopping off a lot of leads to the other players. They get the ball up to the 50-metre line rather than kicking a bit deeper inside 50 Vermont at the moment, and it's hurting them with, I think, in all seriousness, I think Chris Pendlebury's probably had about 12 marks, and we're 5 minutes into the third quarter here.
Now, Aaron, it's Will speaking here now. Obviously, they're missing the cold players, Balwyn, coming to today's game, but it seems like Balwyn, that using that depth and experience pretty well so far.
Yeah, look, they have been. Obviously, missing today's McMahon, Crow, I think Churgwin's another one out today. But Toby Ryan stepped up around the middle, and it's really the usual suspects as well. You know, the 2 Gilchrist boys have been terrific. Gottliebsen's been okay as well, but I thought Toby Ryan's really stepped up for the Tigers so far today.
And Aaron, who have Vermont's standout plays been today?
Look, JVU's been super when the ball's been around him. Mullet started to get into the game slowly. Paul Chadwick's been pretty good. It's really been a bit of an all-round performance, you know, from Vermont. It's just been the skills. Their backline stood up fairly well at times. You know, the blokes like Dave Barton, he's been mopping up. Millhouse has had a little bit of it. It's been sort of those players off half-back. I mean, Kyle Emley's performance last week was probably poor, but he's come out today and played a lot better for the Eagles.
And the winner of today obviously faces Norwood next week in the Division 1 Choose Tap Grand Final. Who do you think would be better suited to repelling Norwood's fluency or game?
Well, I don't think anyone really knows at this point. I was having a chat to Jordan Gisbert, of course, Norwood midfielder just before, and you're either going to run into the big time experience of the Ball and Tigers or a team like Vermont who can kick 6 goals in 15 minutes. So it's a tough one. They don't know who they'd rather play, and I don't know who would be best suited. Look, you always like to see the best two teams play in the grand final, and this year it was Vermont and Norwood. So I'd like to see Vermont-Norwood again. It was a terrific game last week, but if Ball continue like this, it's also going to be a terrific game if they make it next week.
Now, one last question from me, Aaron. I guess what's going to happen now for the next quarter and a half? Who do you think is going to, really take control of the game? Who's the key players do you think so far you've seen will be taking the game by the scruff of the neck?
Look, I think it's those gun midfielders who can use it better. I mean, it's been the biggest issue for Vermont. I mean, they're getting enough of the ball. I mean, it's going from end to end at the moment. Just they look at ball and look a bit more dangerous going forward. There's more space in front of those big forwards. So if Vermont can get rolling, we saw them do it a couple of times last week. They got back within 2 goals and gave them a scare. That's going to be the key. But unfortunately, it looks like the only person that's really going to buy off and kick goals at the moment is JV down forward. So they need to get some of the other bigger guys pushing forward to maybe take a mark.
Well, Aaron, we thank you very much for your time and your correspondence out there at Bayswater Oval. Just leave us with the current score and your tip.
Look, the current score, we're going 9 minutes. It's Vermont 7-7-49, the Ball in 9-3-57. And I think Ballin might just hold on, you fellas.
Well, there you go. Thanks very much, Aaron, for your time.
Thanks, Doc.
Aaron Kirkby-Rodia out there at Bayswater Oval for the big Division 1 Choose Tap preliminary final between Vermont and Ball. And it looks like the Tigers have the upper hand, boys.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see the absolute mental toughness and strength of the Tigers. Look, they've had players go down continuously this season, and they just keep producing results at the right end of the year. If they win today, it's their 9th final in a row they've won, and they'll be going, obviously next week to win the Big Ten in a row, and what a win it would be. So obviously there's still a game to play today, but you've got to admire Ball and the way they go about it.
And it sort of reminds me back to that 2011 final series of Ball, and they finished 4th.
I think that was 2012, was it?
Actually, it was 2012, and the way I thought Bourne were gone when they were out here. I think they took on Scoresby out here in the first week. I thought, well, Scoresby will probably win this game, but Bourne, this shows that they know how to win football. They know how to win finals football, and that's the key in this final series. They've beaten Blackburn, they've beaten Montrose, they're leaning against Vermont. If they can beat Vermont, that's a psychological advantage against Norwood next week.
Absolutely. Now the umpires are making their way back onto the arena. It's currently 5-5-35 apiece in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final between North Ringwood and Croydon. Andy, Will, just quickly your tip and where will things go from here?
Look, I still think North Ringwood will win this game. Again, I just think the inside 50 count, if it continues to go the way it is, will eventually count and take its toll. I think at half-time, Brett Moyle will definitely address their inside 50s and the way they should be lowering their eyes and just sort of creating the overlap. So I think they'll continue in that vein, and the result will eventually go their way.
And Will?
Yeah, I think North Ringwood will win because wind back the clock 2 weeks ago, and North Ringwood, their best quarter was the third quarter, and they really put them away. And I think they will do the same in today's game. North Ringwood will win this game.
Well,
Damo, what about yourself?
I think North Ringwood can hang on. I think they have the temperament and the perseverance to do so. They've been the deserved side to win all year, and I think they'll prevail in the second half. That's been the Pie Shed halftime show live from Tormore Reserve in Baronia. We'll be back with the second half of the big Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final right after these messages.
If I'm going to have a plumber come to my place, I want one that cares. So I use local H2 Pro plumbing. They communicate, arrive on time, inspect me in my home, and execute with excellence. And they support Who Gives a Crap, toilet paper that builds toilets and saves lives. Sign up at h2pro.com.au for 10% off every plumbing job for life. H2 Plumbing, my local plumber who really cares. 9844 1444.
You could spend your weekend driving around to different car dealers, or you could avoid the hassle and head straight to Car City. Car City is like a shopping mall for car buyers. With around 40 dealers all competing for your business, there's simply no better to drive a bargain. So save your money and your weekend. Come to Car City, just 2 minutes from Eastlink at 415 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood.
415 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood.
What vehicle would you choose for your fuel? An old 1950s classic, just like me.
I'd love to arrive on the back of a Harley.
Oh, there's only one choice for me, a Mercedes-Benz.
At Tobin Brothers Funerals, we know you love vehicles, so we've assembled a wide choice for you and your family. So if you'd like a 1958 Dodge hearse, our Fat Boy Harley-Davidson hearse, or our unique family funeral coach, just choose one in a fixed-price funeral plan. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Are you feeling like your man space needs something special? Club rooms need a little something behind the bar? Just want to spoil yourself and show off to your mates? Authentic Autographs is Australia's largest licensed and authentic memorabilia dealer across all sports. With a range second to none, Authentic Autographs is a one-stop shop for all your memorabilia needs. If there's an empty space on your pool room wall, or you feel your man cave needs something special, contact Dave on 0439 743 710 or visit the showroom at 11 to 15 Westwood Drive, Deer Park.
Okay, boys, it's time we got ourselves a big advantage this weekend.
I'm not going to tank, Coach.
No, who said anything about tanking? It's what you'll save in the tank. I want you all to go out and get a breeze tag. Use Eastlink. You'll be at the ground faster and fresher, and you'll save fuel too.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's east. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor.
Go local for your footy and keep your radio dial locked on 98.1 Radio Eastern. EFL Gameday kicks off at 1 every Saturday as Ben Warren-Smith, Ben Waterworth and the team bring you all the EFL Gameday action. On Sunday, keep it locked from 10 a.m. for Akira EFL Sunday for a complete review of all senior EFL matches. Then Wednesday night from 6, tune in to The Huddle with Ben Warren-Smith, Ben Waterworth and Ray Baird for a look at all things EFL. So go local and live for your footy on 98.1 Radio East.
Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
The stage is set on EFL Game Day in the Division 2 Tuesday Grand Final. North Ringwood and Croydon are tied at the main break, 5-5-35 apiece. I'll tell you what, it's been an interesting contest, not against the expectations, I think, of most EFL pundits out there. Steve Buckle joins us back in the truck. Steve, where do you think this game will head in the second half?
Well, I think North Ringwood will get on top eventually. But again, my prediction last week wasn't too flash either. But look, I think if Ringwood can, North Ringwood can get their running game going, and they showed glimpses through that first half when they can run and spread and then link back through the middle and use the corridor and then lower their eyes and get those make the most of those forward entries. They're really, really dangerous. It's just when they start bombing it in long, Croydon get the turnover and then they run together as a group and then they link through the midfield and then they hit the scoreboard the other end. So I think I think North Ringwood will have more of the footy, and I think once they can run and utilise and link up, they should get on top.
Well, it is just a question as to whether Croydon can maintain their ferocity for another 2 quarters.
Yeah, well, statistically, their first halves have been quite good, yet their second halves haven't. So I'll be particularly interested to see how Croydon go about it in the second half.
Underway in the third quarter in the Division 2 Tuesday Grand Final, and it's Croydon with the clearance with a quick kick from Kipton towards centre half forward, but North Ringwood have the numbers. Hand pass eventually comes forward through Jones, a quick kick to centre half forward. Flyers high, no one can quite take clean possession. Fenton's claimed by a couple of Blues, and the umpire calls for a ball up about 60 metres around
boundary
from the North Ringwood goal. Let's hit boundary side thanks to Lifecare. Alysia Thomas Sam is down there.
So both teams have been regularly using their interchange benches, with North Ringwood using 36 in the first half and Croydon 34. So expect fresh legs in the second half.
It'll be interesting to see how that particular stat alters as Croydon move it forward through Hoffman, sends a high ball to centre half forward for the Blues. Big pack forms, but eventually North Ringwood have the numbers at the fall of the ball through. Anthony Sharp tries to twirl his way out of trouble, is successful, got the hand pass on to Decker, and eventually the Saints can move it forward through the transition in the corridor. Hand pass eventually comes back on centre wing. Kick forward from Aaron Fenton towards the half-forward line. Hand pass eventually comes forward. Here is Fenton from 30 metres out. Can he kick another one? No, he can't. It's off to the right. And a minor score only, but North Ringwood regain the lead. They're 5-6-36, leading Croydon 5-5-35 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. So we've gone a minute in this third term. Be interesting to see if the Saints can break this game open or if Croydon can maintain their grip on the match. The Blues bring it back into play towards the half-back line. It's a 2-on-1 contest. Caught behind is Martin for the Blues. Falls to ground level. Brilliant sharking by Dean. In the pocket. Swings it back towards goal. But only a minor score. It was just by the skin of the teeth. Not through for a major. So North Ringwood 5-7-37. Lead Croydon 5-5-35. They edge ahead just that little bit more. 2 minutes into the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I was going to say, geometry doesn't allow for those goals to go in. That was Peter Dacos like.
Oh, yes.
If he kicked that, the house would have gone absolutely down there. But anyway, I just want to talk about Fenton. You know, what a surprise pack. He faced a fitness test today, and he's bobbing up as one of the best players for North Ringwood.
Absolutely. Volta bringing it back into play for the Blues, sends it towards the eastern wing on the half-back flank, and it's forced out of bounds. 50 metres around for the Saints' goal. They lead by 2 points. Early going third term. So the ball brought back into play. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or streaming live on efl.org.au as the hand pass comes out for the Saints by Whelan. A kick long towards the goal square and a free kick's being picked out. It's going the way of the Saints right on the goal line. It'll be a gimme, and the recipient is Thomas Hill, and he can line up from about 5 metres out, only on a slight angle to contend with, and give North Ringwood an 8-point buffer.
Yeah, Jack Whelan really important there in the stoppage. He's finally starting to get his hands on the footy. It's taken him a while. Maybe the last 5 minutes of that second quarter. Just before half time when North Ringwood kicked a couple, and you can see his influence now. So he's got to stand up if North Ringwood are going to win this game. And the other important ones, Curtis Dunn has got to get on the board.
Absolutely, they are influential as Thomas Hill puts it through, and that's his second major of the afternoon. North Ringwood move on to 6-7-43. They lead Croydon 5-5-35 in the third minute of the third term in the Division 2 Tuesday Grand Final.
You saw how important that goal was to the North Ringwood players. When Tom Hill kicked that goal, there was about almost all of them actually got around him, so they realised how important this third quarter is to their chances of winning the ultimate prize here today.
Well, they call it the Premiership quarter. That's what it needs to be when you're playing in the big dance. It's an 8-point lead currently to North Ringwood. 4 minutes gone, ticking over in the third term. Umpire to restart the game now. Green will go up against Decker. Give that one to Green. Soupy, hold it without the football. Travers, umpire said play on. He goes after it again, does Patrick, and he'll hand it back to the umpire. Ficcarelli taken off the ball, behind play. Umpire didn't see it. Play on, handball, goes out, Slattery picked it up for the Blues. He was dispossessed of the football. Here's Calcedo, he arched the back, he gets to half forward, he kicks it deep inside towards the Hilda, and he stands strong and just pulls it out beautifully. Great jukes, and he'll have a shot for goal number 3, about 25 metres out, 45-degree angle.
You sense the feeling that they know that the third quarter is where they beat North Ringwood, where they beat Croydon comprehensively last time, and they could easily do it again. So fantastic jukes here, and should be a certain goal.
Well, pardon me, it's Nick Murphy on the left boot, keeps it low and keeps it straight. 2 goals in a row to the North Ringwood Football Club to open the third term out here at Tormore Reserve, and they are up and about. The Saints, there's no doubt about that. 5 minutes gone, and it is North Ringwood 7-7-49, Croydon 5-5-35.
Well, do we get the sense that the pendulum might be swinging in the Saints' favour?
A little bit, only from a historical sense of what we spoke about 2 weeks ago. Statistically, we know Croydon's first halves have been good and their second halves have been somewhat lacking. So alarm bells won't be ringing yet for Croydon, but they'll understand that they'll need to get the next goal just to steady what has happened in the last 5 minutes.
So the Saints opening up a 14-point buffer, but it's the Blues winning the clearance. The hand pass is intercepted well by Van Uden for the Saints. Hoits it high towards centre half forward. At the fall of the ball is Kempton. Couldn't take the mark. Falls to ground level. The umpire Pays a free kick for a kicking in danger. It's going the Saints' way to be taken by Harbeck. Kick into the forward pocket is ill-directed, and it's chopped off for the Blues by Thatcher, who's been integral in the defensive half for Croydon this afternoon. So Thatcher, deep in his defensive back pocket, look to kick across his goal face. It's a cardinal sin. Fenton almost took the mark with the intercept, but it's forced out of play. But still, it's deep in the forward pocket for the Saints, and they'd be impressed with that result. Gee, that could have been a very costly mistake. Almost a cardinal sin. Throw in Fenton around his body. Not quite there. It's across the face. In fact, it's gone out on the full. So it'll be a Croydon penalty free kick to be taken by Trent Martin deep in his defensive zone.
He's an absolute live wire. As I said, what a surprise pack. Only 17 years old. I think we forget just how much talent this kid has. He could be anything.
So Martin in the back pocket for the Blues. He kicks it where, well, pretty much everyone's standing over the back. It might have been, oh no, Mark has been paid. Well done there by Green on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the wing position now. Well, Melzer went in pretty hard. Mark's been paid there to Jamie Hoffman.
25 metres. Late contact, yep.
Late high contact, so Farrell decent 25 as well, if you don't mind, as Hoffman. Scrambling kick inside forward 50. Anthony Sharp was in position A for the Saints, and he takes it on the chest.
It's his last two kicks that have been a bit messy, Hoffman's.
Short passes on. That was good play there. Jones now takes off and he drives the ball towards centre half forward. It's a 2-on-1 situation. It was nicely paddled down to Tom Hill. He wants goal number 3. Can he squeeze it through? He pushes it to the left-hand side. North Ringwood get another behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They are 7 goals, 850, 15 points. They're leading Croydon 5-5-35, who are yet to score in this third term. 7.5 minutes gone. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Dangerous stats for Croydon. The inside 56-1 in favour of North Ringwood. Disposals 21-9.
So the Blues look to bring it back into play through Thatcher. Again, a dangerous kick, and the free kick's been picked out. It's going the way of Croydon, so they were quite fortuitous there to get away with it. And it looks as if Lovett is the recipient, deep inside his defensive zone. So Hayden Lovett, coming from Ferntree Gully, a 25-metre penalty has been paid against Fenton, so undisciplined there. Croydon, you get the sense, need a goal just to compose the side and perhaps stay in with a chance of winning this Division 2 Choose Tap Premiership, as the kick towards centre wing looks in the direction of his teammate in top, and it's intercepted, and a great mark is taken for the Saints by Jones, who sends a scrambling kick to centre half forward. They have the numbers. Hand pass comes from Harbeck to Calcedo. His kick was smothered. Still at centre half forward, off a standing start. Kick smothered off the boot of Nick Murphy. The Saints trying to persist forward, but it's the Blues who have the numbers, and they can work it out through the corridor through a chain of hand passes. Eventually it comes to Thatcher. Now a chance, moving it forward swiftly is Wilson. Kick into the pocket and a one-on-one, brilliantly done, leading out Brendan Wiener. Fantastic play in the one-on-one contest. It's strength personified, took it on the chest. He can go back and have a shot from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Well, Croydon are working from their half-time slumber, and they're obviously isolating Vinett as much as possible. And when they eventually do get the ball down there, he always looks dangerous.
So Vinett has certainly been an imposing focal point. He's kicked 2 already for the Blues. This to bring them back into the contest from 45 metres out. Is it a straight kick? No, it's off target, off to the right, and only a minus score, so a crucial miss there. Croydon 5-6-36, trailed North Ringwood 7-8-50. We've gone almost 10 minutes in the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So North Ringwood to bring the ball back into play, straight down the throat there of Daniel Price. Quickly to take off there, driving ball to the far side of the ground. Tom Hill's come a long way out from centre half forward, takes it. He's been playing a very good game today, sold a little bit of candy, then drives the ball inside forward 50. Standing strong out there was Murphy. Couldn't take it on the second bite, came in to lend a little bit of a hip and shoulder on hands and knees. Travers picked it up, got the handball away to Benton, got out of that tackle beautifully. Campbell was eventually smothered by Dean, and over the boundary line it goes. It's a hot footy. 10 minutes gone here in the third term. Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Lifecare, to Jesse Failla.
You're starting to see the benefits for North Ringwood of making sure that their forwards stay inside their forward 50. When they're linking up down the ground, they've got an option to kick too, and it's meaning that they're generating more shots on goal.
Well, Clark was the high flyer over the back to Noel Vale. Ball pushed out to the 50-metre arc. It's down North Ringwood's end. They lead this game by a handy 14 points after going in square at half-time. And the free kick going against Green in the ruck contest to Decker. So Decker, handball out to Sharp. He'll have a shot on goal here. It's going. It's drifting to the right-hand side. Through 4-1 behind. The crowd tried to ride it home. 11 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, third quarter out here at the Division 2 Choose Tapper Grand Final. It is North Ringwood 7-9-51. They lead by 15 points. Croydon 5-6-36 as the kick goes out of bounds on the fall from the Croydon kick in, and it'll be Whelan. Take it, short passes on, that was good, brother to brother. This is Jack swinging around now on the right boot. He kicks it to the hot spot, 10 metres out from goal. A big fly from Hill. He got a fist on it. Clark's in there, so too is Fenton. Picked up there by Thatcher, brought to ground in a good tackle by Fenton, Aaron Fenton, and we'll have a bounce about 20 metres out from goal. Big crowd out here today at Tormore Reserve. Great viewing spot to watch the football. It comes out, stolen there by Murphy, got boot to ball, but it's under a fair bit of pressure, bouncing Wrongen, and then eventually rushed through 4-1 behind. So 12 minutes gone here in the third term, and it is North Ringwood leading this one by 16 points, 7-10-52, Croydon 5-6-36.
Blues waste no time clearing it for their defensive zone as Hughes marks on the half-back flank, the skipper, and a free kick may be picked out here. It's going against Croydon, so it'll be a North Ringwood free kick on centre half forward for an infringement behind the play by looks of it.
Jimmy Grant just got dumped behind the ball.
It's a Croydon free kick. Yeah. The umpire was pointing the wrong way, so it'll be a Hughes free kick down the field by the looks of it. On the half-back flank, kick towards centre half forward. Big fly came at the back from Thatcher, falls to ground level. Ficcarelli infringed with the high tackle. It'll be a Saints free kick between half-back and centre wing to be taken by Matt Weeks. So Weeks the recipient, certainly a pro big kick. He opts for the short pass on this occasion. Chip pass finds Calcedo, can wheel around onto the right foot, sends a probing ball towards full forward. The Blues have the numbers at the front. The spoil affected there by Thompson. Falls to ground level. The Saints have the numbers. Trying to weed his way through is Whelan. He's forced to ground. It'll be a ball up right on centre half forward for the Saints. And it's a 16-point lead in North Ringwood's favour.
Around the grounds, thanks to the local burger company, they are delicious. Vermont lead by 12 points at three-quarter time in the Division 1 Choose Tap preliminary final. 10-11-71, Borwood 9-5-59.
Sounds like it's a fluctuating contest out there as a secondary bounce will be called on the half-forward line for the Saints. Umpire looking to move the play onwards. Tap one for Croydon there by Bolton, forces it to ground level. The Saints have the numbers at the back though. The little speedster in Dean wheels round onto the right foot, kick inside, 50 is ill-directed, and Trent Martin chops it off for the Blues. So Martin on the right foot, clears to the eastern side of Tormore Reserve. It's a one-on-one contest. Pushed off the football there is Dean for North Ringwood. And it looks as if it'll be a throw-in on the outer side between half-forward and centre wing. Let's head to Grant Campbell for some Choose Tap match stats.
Inside 50 is now up to 12-2 in favour of North Ringwood.
Well, certainly a one-sided statistic, that's for sure, as from the ruck contest, it's forced out of bounds once again between half-forward and centre wing for North Ringwood. Eastern side of Tormore Reserve, a fantastic atmosphere at the ground on the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final day. And it's certainly not over yet this game. 16 points in favour of North Ringwood, and it's the Saints winning it out of the stoppage once again through Jack Whelan. Sends a high ball inside the 50. Uncontested mark taken by Harbeck, who can stroll in from the pocket and kick a goal! Great play by the Saints. Great play by Harbeck. That's his second. And North Ringwood move on to 8-10-58, leading Croydon by 22 points, 5-6-36. We go on 15 minutes in the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's head boundary side thanks to Lifecare and Jesse Failla.
Croydon just stopped there, boys. They heard the was from the umpire, but the umpire called play on, and they just stopped and allowed North Ringwood just to run into an open goal.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that Croydon's pressure's just dropped off in the second half, and Paul Newlands, I think, will be pretty angry at three-quarter time and will be demanding more of his players.
Well, he might have 15 minutes to get a smile back on his dial as they go up in the middle. Hill got the ruck contest. It came down that time to Van Noonan, slams it on his boot out, and Harbeck takes the mark, the man who just slotted through the last one. He's kicked 2 goals this afternoon. This might just be beyond his range, but he gives it everything he's got. It's going. And it was touched through for 1 behind. A fair old bruise. The umpire's paid a free kick. I think it might go the way of North Ringwood here for a little bit of holding. footing. Daniel Wood was in that contest, and he will be the recipient of the free kick, tugged right up against the boundary line, and it'll have to be a left foot snap or banana kick situation. These are the times that you do allow these shots at goal, but Daniel Wood, well, 22 points is the margin. This could really break the game open here. It could lift the Saints and it could break the Blues, and he puts it over the goal umpire's head. That is a classy kick, a fantastic goal. That's his first of the afternoon, and it is North Ringwood's 9th on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, pushing them to 9-10-64. Croydon a 5-6-36. They're still yet to kick a goal in this third quarter, Croydon. What do they have to do to get back in this game, Bucksy?
Well, they haven't even looked like it either this quarter at all. Besides that, I suppose, besides that one shot by Weinhardt, but North Ringwood have dominated. They've got to start winning some centre clearances. They've got to start winning around the stoppages, and they've got to be a little bit cleaner with the footy when they do move forward.
So North Ringwood elevating their lead to 28 points. It could be a game breaker. Who knows? It remains to be seen as we're back in the middle. The tap one again for North Ringwood and sharked out of the stoppage by Scott. The umpire calls for a secondary bounce in the centre wicket area at Tormore Reserve. So certainly North Ringwood doing the bulk of the attacking in this third term. Shepherding free kick out of the ruck contest. It'll go the way of Croydon through Van Florestein. Kick towards centre half forward. North Ringwood have the numbers at the back in their defensive zone, and they're reading the play the better at the moment. Hand pass, great evasion there shown for the Saints by Whelan with the Sam variety. Hand pass comes out, but it's the Blues who have the numbers across the centre line. Hand pass, it was dropped there. Great fumble by Travers, but he eventually regains his kick inside the 50, and the mark has been taken in a one-on-one contest. That will reinvigorate some life into the Blues fans, and it's Haag who have a shot for goal from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
I just get the feeling Croydon's inside 50s and have mainly been blind. They haven't had too many this quarter. But great work again by Haag just to put himself in the right position. He read the ball better with the sun in his eyes and took a strong contested mark.
So Nathan Haag, the boy who has worked his way up for the Croydon Colts, will kick from 45 metres. It's drifted with the wind off to the left, and it won't even register a score. It's gone out of bounds on the full, so it'll be a penalty free kick to be taken for North Ringwood by Tim Jones deep in the defensive zone.
Interesting how the wind took that kick as well. That looked like it was dead on for goal there, but the Tormore Reserve wind, we all know about it, and it pushed it way across the face.
Jones found Sharp, who in turn found Van Noonan and got it over the top. He was looking for his teammate there in Curtis Dunn. It sits up nicely for him. Which way is this one going to go? Inside forward 50. The kick goes over the top. It might bounce favourably for Harbeck here. He's the man of the third quarter. Bentley goes in for the Blues. Eventually picked up the football. He wanted it more than anyone else. Vicker really gets it back to Martin. Had to work himself out of a telephone box then. Good pressure applied by Daniel Price. And dispossessed of the football. So dropping the football paid there, and Daniel Price will have a shot on goal. He's inside the 50-metre arc. He just underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. His side currently leading this one by a very, very handy margin. 28 points it is currently, and stretch it to 34. Going to be hard to come back from there. That would mean Croydon have to double their score to hit the front. He kicks it up, pots it up. There is Price. The big fly over the back, and a nice knock through there by the big man Shane Thompson through for a rush behind, and Croydon will get a chance to bring the ball out of that defensive zone. 19 minutes gone here in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Third term, 65 plays 36. 29 points is the margin. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Has been a noticeable drop-off in pressure. Croydon, after 36 effective tackles in the first half, they've only had 5 in the first 19 of this quarter.
Alarm bells ringing for Croydon, and it's their skipper Andrew Hughes with the ball. Can he orchestrate an attack? He kicks the ball in. Kick partially smothered from Wilkins. Falls on the half-forward flank here for North Ringwood. If they can intercept a goal, it'll be very damaging. Picked up by Jack Whelan, who's been instrumental all afternoon, and the umpire's picked out perhaps a free kick, or in fact it's gone over the boundary line, and it looks as if in fact it's a ball up on the half-forward flank for the Saints, 50 metres around from their goal. So North Ringwood leading by 29 points, not unassailable, but Croydon certainly have to mount some sort of attack here. Dribbled along the line by Thatcher towards the Ficcarelli direction. Couldn't quite take it on the half volley. May have been pushed in the back. Umpire calls play on. That's fallen over the boundary line, 55 metres around from the North Ringwood goal, western side of Tormore Reserve. So certainly Croydon need to regain that physicality and ferocity that they showed in the first half. Tap one out, kick partially smothered. It was a good effective smother by Murphy. Falls to ground level. Hill affects the tackle. It'll be about 60 metres around for the Saints' goal on their half-forward flank.
Perhaps it's because they're in their my beloved navy blue jerseys, but Croydon's drop off in pressure. It's hard to sustain it for 4 whole quarters, so they've just got to find a way, Croydon, because this game could become out of reach very quickly.
Well, they're persisting in getting that ball forward. The kick into the corridor, chasing after it there is obviously Slattery for the Blues. Out wide, the Saints have the numbers, however, and they can move it forward through a chain of handballs. Price sends a long ball towards the half-forward flank in the direction of his teammate Ed Dunn, but it beats him to the boundary line. They'll have a throw in 55 metres around for the Saints' goal, eastern side of Toolmore Reserve. So the ball in. 21 minutes gone in this third term. The Saints win the knockout from the contest. Falls inside their 50. Brilliant pick up by Whelan, but he's claimed. The Blues have the numbers. Trying to evade the tackle there is Martin. He was risky. North Ringwood have the free kick. Play on. Goal. And North Ringwood now lead by 35 points. That was a sensational goal from Arab Fenton. That's his third. In fact, it's gone the way of Curtis Dunn, and there's a bit of a blue on behind the play. And it looks as if it was after that tackle. It may have been a crude one that forced the North Ringwood free kick, but it's Dunn who scored his second. And North Ringwood move on 10-11-71. They lead Croydon 5-6-36 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I just want to ask Steve, when you're in a situation like this and the game's sort of getting away from you in the third quarter, what can you do as a coach to get your players back on, and willing for this contest?
Well, this is where you look for your on-ground leaders, and this is where they've got to stand up, because they've got to be ones to drive the message. And as they're losing the game here around the footy, around the stoppages, and then the spread and run. So you'd almost even be tempted to put one behind the footy at this point in time, just to stem the flow until the last quarter comes around, and you get yourself close enough just to have a crack.
Well, Matty Wilkins has given away a free kick and copped himself a yellow card for his troubles. Free kick, 40 metres out from goal, Jimmy Dean. A class act, a class player, and he'll do a fantastic job at putting the ball straight over the goal umpire's head. That's his first goal of the afternoon, and it's a double barrel shot there for the North Ringwood Football Club. 10 goals, 11, make that 11-11-77, 5-6-36, the Croydon Football Club. I'm going to call it. It's game over.
I'm with you.
BWS, I'm with you too.
What a premiership quarter it's been, Damian Watson, by the North Ringwood Football Club. It was a fantastic first half, but they've really put the pedal to the metal in this third term.
Have they ever? It's been a 6-0-0 third term, and they say it's a premiership quarter, the third, and it certainly has been conveyed this afternoon. The Saints leading by 41 points. It's looking ever the more increasingly insurmountable for Croydon. The Blues try and move it forward in vain, and it's chopped off. That's centre half back for the Saints by Tim Jones, who's been
very good today.
Fantastically steadfast, hasn't he? And he switched the play effectively. Mark taken on centre wing by Jason Sharp. Looks inboard to the corridor. And the mark has been taken as they chip the ball around ever so conservatively.
Fenton's in space.
Yes, Fenton will mark it right on centre wing in front of the broadcasting booth. Fenton on the right foot, looks towards the half-forward flank in the direction of Whelan. It's spoiled at the back from Thatcher, and we'll have a throw in 55 metres around for the Saints goal, and they're looking ever more ominous when moving the ball forward.
Yeah, Fenton just got off the chain there because he just came on from the boundary, but again, we talk about leadership, Steve, and just when Croydon needed it, that's when they gave away that double free kick, so not good play from them.
Yeah, you can see the frustration just building up. I can see a lot more free kicks starting to come just through sheer frustration from Croydon. So expect a bit more off the ball coming too.
Calcedo won the free kick for a holding the ball decision. Switches the ball into the corridor. Mark taken by Hill. Looks out wide. Flying high for the mark was Anthony Sharp. He was interfered with in flying, and he's going to win the free kick and have a shot from about 47 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And this, if it hasn't been buried already, will bring the nail into the coffin of the Croydon Football Club.
Just cramping up a little bit there, Anthony Sharp. You expect someone to might come around for a handball here.
Well, he's probably just beyond his range given that cramp.
Here he goes.
He does just that. Gives the hand pass off to his teammate. I think it was Hill from 55 metres. Sets sail towards goal, and it's home for the Saints. And so is the Premiership Cup. No, it's going to come back. Well, the crowd went up in unison, but it's going to come back.
It was a lovely kick.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looked as if he gave the hand pass away without going over the mark, Anthony Sharp. So it's going to come back. So Sharp, the recipient, 55 metres out. He's got a couple of options in short.
Maxi Melzer screaming for it across centre half forward.
He wants to switch it.
As a backman, you'd want a goal at this stage.
Well, the umpire's given a 25-metre penalty, so that rubs salt into a very, very deep Croydon wound. And Sharp will now go closer in, 30 metres out, if that, on a 45-degree angle, and this will sew it up for the Saints.
I think that was for something off the ball as well that was happening in the middle of the ground there, boys. So, as we've spoken about, I'd like to see the free kick count this quarter.
Undisciplined play as Sharp shoots for goal, and it's right through the centre. North Ringwood 12-11-83. They have the Premiership Cup sewn up. Croydon 5-6-36. We've gone 26 minutes of the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's head to Grant Campbell with that free kick count, thanks to Choose Tap.
Yeah, it's been 11-4 this quarter for North Ringwood. They've also got a 25-metre penalty, and Croydon have it too.
Oh, gee. Undisciplined play.
12-11 plays 5-6. 7-goal term to the North Ringwood Football Club. Croydon have not put one through the big sticks. They've kicked 1 point. That was from Brendan Wynert when they were trailing by just over 20 points. That was to keep them in the game. Now it seems the game is beyond them. Umpire starts it again. Green, he got the knockdown. Grant tried to pull it in with one arm. To no avail, picked up there by Fenton. He fumbled it to his teammates' advantage here. Jack Whelan, he'll link up well out wide. Here's Melzer, little short chip into the middle of the ground. That was good play. Calcedo, he stepped back up again. Calcedo drives the ball inside forward 50. One-on-one contest can choose. No, it might have been a high tackle there for Croydon, but umpire said no, it was okay, but felt it was a little bit stiff there on Trent Martin. Umpire throws it back up again. Comes out now, Clark, got boot to ball. Handball out wide there from Thompson. Bentley's in there. Sharp's right on his hammer. This is Jason on the left boot. Can he squeeze it back? It was a good-looking kick, but it was nicely chopped off there by Thatcher on the right boot. Drives it out of the danger zone up towards the wing position. Bouncing football. They might do okay out of here. That was a good handball there by Todd into the path there of the Wilson direction. Umpire said play on, so he'll kick it towards Justin Ficcarelli. He needs to step up. He needs to do something. He links up well with Travers in the middle of the ground. The kick goes towards the Wynert direction. It was knocked away from him. That was well done, Wynert. He was able to retrieve. Got the handball away. Ficcarelli brushed one off and then puts it through for one behind. He probably had a little bit more time to steady there as it's on the wing position. Crowd really getting into this match. One behind is the result. Croydon there's a free kick and a yellow card being paid, and it will go against the Croydon Football Club. As Buxy said only moments ago, you'd expect the frustrations to start coming out here from the Croydon Football Club. They're trailing by a pretty hefty margin as we see Lachlan Todd, who's kicked 2 goals this afternoon, being sent off the ground.
Yeah, the netball grand final was last night.
There's a kick. It's going to be a 25. In fact, it's going to go all the way to the forward line here with the remonstration.
So a remonstration, then pay the 25 from
it's more than a 25. It's more like a 75-metre penalty.
They've just got to be careful here, the Croydon boys. Like, I know it's frustration. It's an annoying thing about is this one day in the grand final, but you don't want to start next season with 4 or 5 blokes not starting in your best 22.
Melzer, one way, then the other, sizes up the option, and that is a magnificent kick. Straight in front, Jaden Van Noonen takes the mark, 45 metres out, he will kick from. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, looking to stretch the lead even further. It's a fantastic performance, 56 points is the margin. This will stretch it to 10 goals. We'll cross down boundary side shortly, but in the meantime, it is Jaden Van Noonen, the forward, turn middleman, turn forward, and he slams it home. Fantastic goal, and celebrations have started out here. RSP, your invitation to all the festivities out at Quambia Reserve tonight. It is going to be going off. 29.5 minutes gone in the third term of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final, and it's all North Ringwood. It's all the Sainers, 13-11-89. Croydon 5-7-37.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's head boundary side thanks to Lifecare. That atmosphere must be getting the better of you there, Jesse Failla.
Yeah, definitely. The crowd are very frustrated down here, but you just see that the frustration's creeping into Croydon. You guys have made a lot of mention of it, but Lachlan Todd just got sucked in there on the wing by Melzer, and it just resulted in an undisciplined free kick.
52 points the margin in favour of the Saints. Latter stages of the third term, and out of the stoppage, it's going to be a free kick going the way of the Blues. And they're in the centre wicket area, so they can make a belated charge forward. It's a big foray, a long ball to the full forward position. Wynett at the back, couldn't quite take the mark. He was against two Saints, and the numbers prevail. They can clear here. North Ringwood through Daniel Price. Loops the hand pass over the top. That was brilliant, effective linking. Price again wins it back. Kick towards the half-forward flank. Charging for the football there is Calcedo. It dribbles out the back towards the 50. Croydon have the numbers. Thatcher tries to wheel his way out of trouble. It was good evasion, and eventually he gets the hand pass off to his teammate, who kicks it towards the Hughes direction, and the skipper marks on centre wing. So Andrew Hughes chips the pass with the shift into the middle. Mark taken by Bolton. Looks out wide with another transition of play. Good mark on the second bite to Wilson. Wilson sends a long probing kick in the Wynett direction at the back. Forced the spoil. Umpire called it for a high touch, and it'll be a North Ringwood free kick deep in their defensive zone. It's been the story of the Blues afternoon. So the recipient, Callum Fenton, looks out wide, finds his teammate Ed Sharp, who sends a long ball towards centre wing. Flying high is the little man in James Dean, forces it to ground level. Can he retrieve it? He's got a couple of Blues on his hammer, and eventually will have a bounce between half-forward and centre wing for the Croydon Footy Club.
Around the grounds, thanks to the local burger company in the Division 1 preliminary final. It is Vermont leading by 5 points as Barker kicks a goal to get the Tigers back to within a kick.
Well, Aaron Kirkby Rodial will be enjoying the festivities out there at Bayswater Oval. Sounds like it's a cracking preliminary final as Croydon try and force it forward through Hughes. Sends a probing kick to centre half forward, but it's all North Ringwood as the three-quarter time siren sounds. And it was Callum Fenton taking the mark, but what a quarter by the Saints. 13-11-89. They lead Croydon 5-7-37 at the last change, and it's all North Ringwood at this stage of the game.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live around the globe on EFL.org.au. Major goal kickers on the ground. 2 goals each to Rory Harbeck, Aaron Fenton, Thomas Hill and Curtis Dunn for the Saints, while Brendan Wynett and Lachlan Todd have 2 each for the Blues. The Saints, well, they look like they're going to go marching in. Do Croydon have a yelp? We'll find out right after this on 98.1 Radio Eastern for the all-important final 30 minutes of the Division 2 season.
Car City's website is awesome, but nothing compares to experiencing Car City in person. It's massive! A huge 10 acres bursting with up to 2,000 used and late model cars. Plus, Car City offers instant on-site finance, so you can have the car you want now. T's and C's apply. Check them out online, carcity.com.au, and make sure you visit to experience the huge Car City difference.
450 Maroondah Highway, Ringwood.
If I'm going to have a plumber come to my place, I want one that cares. So I use local H2 Pro plumbing. They communicate, arrive on time, respect me in my home, and execute with excellence. And they support Who Gives a Crap? Toilet paper that builds toilets and saves lives. Sign up at h2pro.com.au for 10% off every plumbing job for life. H2 Pro Plumbing, my local plumber who really cares. 9844 1444.
Have you got a premiership or milestone jumper that needs framing? Is the better half nagging you to clean up the man cave? Well, you're in luck. As well as being Australia's largest licensed memorabilia dealer, the team at Authentic Autographs also do custom framing. From the deep rebated frame, the acid-free pins, the mount will not only look great, but won't damage your prized jumper should you want to relive the glory days. The team will also design a frame, including photos and all the important information, so you have no trouble bragging to the boys. Contact David on 0439 743 710. Authentic Autographs is Australia's largest licensed and authentic memorabilia dealer across all sports.
What was wrong with you blokes yesterday? You were playing like you'd been stuck in traffic for an hour before getting to the game.
Coach, there was a railway crossing gate down for ages.
The other mob thrashed us. You ran out of legs.
They all have breeze tags, Coach. They use Eastlink. They get to focus on the match rather than focus on inching forward in the traffic.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's east. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor.
What song would you like played at your funeral?
Oh, It's got to be a long way to the top. Acca Dacca. Yeah, just the way you are. Billy Joel. Love that song.
Oh, the Collingwood song. Good old Collingwood forever.
How about Return to Sender?
Music is a must at funeral services. Certain songs say so much about a loved one's personality and the defining moments of their life. The best way to ensure they play the right song at your funeral is to have a fixed price funeral plan. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Own a smartphone and love the Eastern Football League? Then the EFL mobile web app is a must for you. Go to m.efl.org.au to access fixtures, results and ladders for all EFL grades. You can also receive live around-the-ground scores every Saturday afternoon right from the palm of your hand. And contribute to the mighty EFL forum while you're online. Download the EFL mobile web app to go live and local for your footy this season right from the palm of your hand. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, welcome back to EFL Game Day. It's a Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final, and I tell you what, North Ringwood have streaked away from Croydon, particularly in that third term. They lead 13-11-89 to Croydon 5-7-37. It's a 52-point margin at the last change. It looks as if the Premiership Cup is sewn up for the Saints. Just before we head to Grant Campbell for some Choose Tap match stats, let's go around the grounds to an intriguing game at Bayswater Oval. Will Taylor, what's happening?
Yeah, it was a 12-point Vermont lead at three-quarter time. Well, guess what? 16-minute mark. It is all the Luke Barker show. He has 5 goals, 3 in the last quarter, and it's buoyed by 1 point at the moment, 78-77.
Wow.
16-minute mark, buoyed by 1 point.
We'll definitely keep you up to date with those scores of the Division 1 Choose Tap preliminary final. Let's head now to Grant Campbell for some Choose Tap match stats. In fact, before we head over there, let's go boundary side. Thanks to Lifecare, Jesse Failla is down there with a man from North Ringwood.
Hi boys, I'm with the assistant coach of North Ringwood. The coach made mention in the first quarter-time huddle that the players were getting sucked into the contest, the forwards, and then they seem to change that and really made a difference in that quarter.
Yeah, look, I think our half forwards are just playing far too high. They're sort of playing a little bit of a role in zone, letting our half forwards sort of get sucked to the contest up the ground. So the main message was just to hold the ground, keep our forward six. We think our forward six is our strength. We kept our positions for the whole quarter. It was really, really good.
They seem to be second-guessing themselves in the first quarter as well. They seem to be in that quarter there where you really dominated inside 50s, letting the ball go and giving the ball to the first option.
Yeah, look, I think we were a bit hesitant moving forward. They always slid a number behind the footy, and I think we looked up and saw an extra number and we just kept turning the footy over, maybe overusing the footy. That quarter was a really simple message. 1 handball, 1 kick, run and carry the lines and get it inside 50 really quickly.
Thanks for your time. Good luck for the rest of the game.
Thanks, buddy.
Fantastic work from Jesse Failla, boundary side, thanks to Lifecare. Grant Campbell, North Ringwood dominated in that third term. Was it reflected on the stat sheet thanks to Choose Tap?
Yeah, it largely was. They had 51 kicks to 31, on the contested ball by 11, the uncontested ball by 7, and they had 19 inside 50s to 9, the free kick count 13 to 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, a disastrous quarter for Croydon. Brilliant from North Ringwood. They kicked 8 goals to nothing in that third term. Boys, where to now?
Respect for Croydon. They've just got to play this game out and show some respect and not be indisciplined. Try and win the quarter and use it as a catalyst for next season.
Underway in the final term of the Division 2 2014 season, and it's North Ringwood again winning the clearance through Van Uden from the stoppage. Tumbles a punt towards centre half forward. Fatchett charges out at the ball, but North Ringwood have the numbers. Whelan on hands and knees is claimed that he was taken high according to the umpire and will receive the free kick. Jack Whelan, who's been outstanding, probably in contention for the Blue Ribbon medal this afternoon. Free kick actually went to Hill, who tumbled a kick towards centre half forward. Van Uden weaved his way out of trouble. Brilliantly played there by Decker of the Lincoln variety. He was claimed, and the umpire calls for a bounce 45 metres around from the Saints' goal. Let's head boundary side thanks to Lifecare and Alysia Thomas-Sam.
Paul Newlands was very frustrated at the three-quarter time huddle, and he was just saying that they really need to take risks, and they're just letting North Ringwood really go over the top of them. And this is the last match they're going to play, so they may as well play it out as in the highest intensity they can.
Great work from Alysia, thanks to Lifecare, as North Ringwood again make another foray forward inside their 50. Brilliantly done by Nick Murphy, judged the play, swings it round his body towards full forward. It's hoisted high. Croydon have the numbers on the last line of defence, but it's brilliantly read by Dean. Weaves his way out of trouble. Snap around the corner. It was on the outside of the boot, but it hit the woodwork and a minor score. So North Ringwood move on to 13-12-90. They lead Croydon 5-7-37. We go on a minute in the final term on the Bendigo Bag scoreboard.
So Bolton linked up there with Kimpton, dumped it on his boot down towards the wing position. Looking for numbers, Clark went in after it. Good tackle laid there by Callum Fenton for the Saints, and we'll have a bounce just inside the centre square out here at Tormore Reserve. 53-point lead to the North Ringwood Football Club. What a third quarter it was. What a premiership quarter it was. Comes down now, North Ringwood. Clearing kick. Walter will be the first player to meet it there for Croydon. One way then the other. Sharp's right on his hammer. It was good pressure there by Anthony Sharp, and a fantastic second effort to force him over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, North Ringwood have been fantastic at their persistence and their movement. The transition of play has been brilliant.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it in the first half, but Croydon's pressure really stifled that. In the third quarter, Croydon's pressure really dropped, and that's how North Ringwood were able to dominate, were able to stream through the middle with ease and just create so many scoring opportunities. And for the most part, they lowered their eyes and created those inside 50s that they were so much searching for, and the goals with it.
Pye throws it up. Green and Decker in a little bit of a tussle as the ball tumbles forward now for North Ringwood. Picked up there by Dean. Handball out into the open space. This might work out beautifully for Daniel Wood to put his second goal on the board. Over the goal umpire's head it goes, and the celebrations continue out here at Baronia in the Division 2 Tuesday Tap Grand Final. You stared at me, Damo, and put me completely off. 14 goals, 12.96. I'm going to blame somebody else, don't I? 5-7-37.
It's the Australian way. That was great play, though, from the Saints. Again, just exquisite ball use.
Yeah, well, look, they're damaging going forward, but they've cut off the supply to Croydon. I don't think it can be underestimated that the job that Weeks has done on Ficarelli has been fantastic, and he's got inside his head and he's frustrated him, and he hasn't got near it since the first quarter.
Well, have a listen to this one. Gilchrist just about seals it for the Baldwin Football Club. Baldwin up by, I think it is 14 points, 23 minutes gone in the final term.
We'll keep you up to date with those developments from Bayswater Oval as the stoppage is won for Croydon, and a dribbling kick is forced out of play in front of the North Ringwood interchange bench, 55 metres out from the Blues goal. Croydon trailing by 59 points. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or streaming live on efl.org.au around the world. And it's North Ringwood again winning the stoppage. Through Whelan of the Sam variety, kicks towards centre wing. Croydon at the numbers at the back, and it's forced out of play by Thatcher. And we'll have a ball in between half forward and centre wing for the Saints. A big contingent of North Ringwood supporters behind the goals at the southern end of Tormore Reserve. Sure, they'll be very delighted with this display by the Saints. Jack Whelan went up alone in the ruck contest. A double-handed slap down at ground level. He's claimed eventually by Green for the Blues, and it'll be a free kick going the way of Croydon for holding the ball, so they can stream forward here. Taking the game on there was James Grant, but he's stripped of the football. Another brilliant tackle applied there by Sam Whelan. Forces it to ground level, eventually weaving his way out of trouble and forcing it back there for the Blues with Slattery. Kick out wide towards centre wing. The race is on. Dean leads for the Saints, but he's forced to ground level. A free kick for a high tackle is going to be paid, and it looks as if it's going the way of the Saints. And down at ground level is Weeks. He may have been taken high, and he's still struggling to get up, so he's in a bit of agony at the moment. And the trainer's just attending to his services there, so Weeks has been a pretty serviceable player this afternoon. He's been brilliant all year.
He's done a fantastic job, as Steve said just only moments ago. Had a job to do to shut down such a live wire X-Factor player in Justin Ficarelli, who, to be honest, has really not seen a lot of it at all today.
Absolutely, as Weeks sends a probing kick towards the half-forward flank. Flying high for the mark there was Fenton. Couldn't quite reach the ball in mid-air, and the umpire eventually calls for a bounce as it's locked up between half-forward and centre wing. Eastern side of Tormore Reserve for the Saints. Punch out, won by the Blues, but it's taken away by Anthony Sharp for the Saints, who swings round his body. Kick was partially smothered. Brilliant pick-up effected there by Haag for the Blues. He's forced to ground level in a gang tackle, and will have a bounce right on centre wing here at Tormore Reserve. 59 points the margin in favour of North Ringwood. We're 6 minutes in the final term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Failla throws the ball back up now. Grant went up unattended there, Soupy, so he got a double fisted down, but
oh, gee,
out of bounds on the full is the result of the kick.
Hate to be a windscreen.
So would I.
Me too.
We're all in agreement. Short passes on. Mark's been taken. 25-metre penalty, I think, as well. That is as Tiggy Touchwood as it gets. Just Jaden Van Newton has got the football. He's moved himself up to the win position here.
Just undisciplined play again. It's fallen down for Croydon.
Mel's up, presented in the guts. Takes the mark. Short passes on. Well, it wasn't that short in the end, but Thatcher was standing in position A and he takes it down. He's had a pretty serviceable game today for Croydon, Thatcher, as he kicks it up towards the wing position. Whelan was there. That's Sam. Takes the mark on his chest. Hugged up against the boundary. The short passes on. It was risky, but coming out, Tim Jones. What a game he has played. Absolutely super from the get-go. He kicks the ball up into towards the half-forward line, and North Ringwood playing in front a lot today, and Daniel Price, who's had a fantastic second half. It was a bit of a floater off the boot. Bolton goes in hard for the Blues. Didn't he have a fantastic first 2 quarters of football? The umpires rewarded him with a free kick. Going first to the ball, you can see the frustration. Handball over the top. Thatcher, Volta, one way then the other. Swings around now on the right boot. Drives the ball up towards the half-forward line. I'm not too sure where that was intended for. Clark was there, but Matty Weeks was right there to put the fist on, and over she goes for a boundary throw-in. And full time out of Bayswater Oval, and Baldwin will take on Norwood next week in the Division 1 Tuesday Grand Final. The Tigers coming home in the final term, 14-7-91, defeated Vermont 11-12-78 as the ball now deep inside the forward line for Croydon. Wynerd, well, he almost pulled it in. The big man right on his hammer was Decker, screaming for a free kick, and eventually the umpire will come in and bounce it. Brendan, not too happy about that one. He's had a tough old afternoon. Decker, solid as a rock as he's been all season, as a free kick has been paid at 2 Wynerd in the ruck contest, and he'll have a shot on goal for his 3rd major of the afternoon from about 20 metres out, 45-degree angle. Still looking for their first goal of the second half, Andy.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's a bit of a shame for Wynerd, who's shown so much, but the lack of inside 50s was really hard for him to get in the game. So too with Ficarelli. You feel like a barometer of the club. When things are going well, he is too, and when they're not, he's anonymous.
So Brendan Wynerd had a fantastic season. All trophies leading goal kicker, and Maxi Mells has given away a 25-metre penalty for getting a little bit too close, and Brendan Wynerd kicks it into the swimming pool. So he kicks his 3rd goal of the afternoon. Croydon get their first for the second half. Hallelujah, the Croydon fans are singing, and the Bendigo Bank scoreboard 9.5 minutes into this final term. It is the Saints 14 goals, 12.96. Croydon 6-7-43. What's so funny?
I think Brendan Wynerd needs to jump in the swimming pool himself just to cool down a little bit. He's a little bit fired up and frustrated, I suppose, from the results of the second half today.
They've got a secondary ball from the interchange bench, so it's good to see they have a number of spares, BWS.
Sorry, wasn't paying attention.
He's trying to find the ball.
So 53 points the margin. It's drawn back to. So we'll see if Croydon can get a little bit of respectability on that Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And it's one in the middle, eventually trying to streak his way out of trouble is Van Florestein for Croydon. He's unsuccessful and claimed, and will have a secondary bounce in the centre of Torbor Reserve. 14-12 to 6-7 in favour of North Ringwood. It's been a dominant second half from the Saints, but it's the Blues winning the clearance on this occasion. Onto the left foot, wheeling around, a brilliant kick inside 50 by Hoffman for the Blues, and he's found that man again, Brendan Wynerd. He can go back for his 4th major, and I'll tell you what, it's been a lone hand up forward from him, despite limited inside 50 entries. He can go back and perhaps belt it into the swimming pool once again. We'll have to find another ball in the spares.
Imagine he will absolutely bang it through from here.
Wind up from 30 metres out, directly in front. A more conservative approach, but the same result. And that's his 4th goal of the afternoon. Croydon now 7-7-49, trailing North Ringwood 14-12-96. We got 11 minutes in the final term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
credit to Wynett. He's with limited opportunities, kicked 4 goals, so you can't begrudge his effort today. But that's the story of Croydon's game. You know, Wynett can pop up for a few goals, and then there's not a lot else. There's only been 3 goal kickers for Croydon today, and it really highlights their deficiencies down forward. And perhaps with the injuries that were mentioned earlier today, their avenues to goal have been somewhat shortened, and it might be an area to address for next season.
Yeah, I think they tried Travers, and they also tried Hoffman down forward early in the game and tried to isolate them, and looked like it was going to work, but then they had to go back to the old stock, and that's why not.
Margin back to 47 points, and again Hoffman winning the clearance from 55 metres, set sail towards goal, but it's off to the left and it bounces out of play deep in the forward pocket for the Blues, and it looks as if it might be a penalty free kick. Actually, it carried the pack out of the full, so a free kick will be paid to Heath Decker, the helicopter man, from the back pocket.
So Decker sends the ball out of that defensive zone for the Saints. Big fly there by Jamie Hoffman. Huge. And good grab too.
He's had a good last quarter so far.
Takes the mark. Jackie Whelan was a bit of a step ladder there. He'll have a shot on goal about 55 metres out. Distance on a good day with good purchase. He'll put it straight through the middle. In a last quarter in a game that you're down, he might struggle. Set sail for goal. That's a good-looking kick off the boot. Hasn't got the carry all the way. Touched over for a minor score. Rush behind here. 12 minutes gone in the final term of this Choose Tap Division 2 Grand Final. North Ringwood 14 goals, 12.96. Croydon 7.850. So the kicking now comes out towards Calcedo, who had to contend with Jackie Whelan there for the mark. Calcedo wins out. Had a good game today,
particularly in the first half.
Picks it up, Whelan of the Sambarite will be the one to fly over the back there. Fat Thatcher got a handle on it. Jack Whelan goes in after the football, and he'll hand it back to the umpire right in front of the members' stand out here at Baronia. Tormore Reserve is the venue, a great finals venue for Division 2 Choose Tap football. Umpire throws it up. Van Florenstein looked like he was held in the ruck contest there. Nicely done there by Hoffman. Backwards. Okay to Slattery on the right boot. Drives it into the middle of the ground. The kick had to be good, but it was chopped off there by Sharp, who will swing around now on the right boot. Sends the ball inside forward 50 towards the hill direction. It sits up in the breeze a little bit there. The umpire's paid a free kick off the football. I don't believe I understand what that was quite for. It was
choppy of the arms, perhaps.
Nick Murphy, short passes on. He spots uphill about 45 metres out from goal, directly in front.
It's been a very dominant second half from the North Ringwood forwards. They certainly have presented well, and as we mentioned pre-game, there's a multitude of them up there, not just the one focal point. So North Ringwood certainly have that variety up forward.
So it's Scott to bring the ball goalward. He wants to get amongst the goal kickers this afternoon. He unleashes from 50, he pushes it to the left-hand side. It's going to sit up in the breeze, but a big fly, and the mark has been taken, I believe. I think it is Hill this time, and he'll go back and have a shot on goal from about 15 metres out directly in front. Kicked 2 goals this afternoon. He'll come in. You'll see the fans cheer this one home. They followed it end-to-end to this afternoon, and he slams it home. That's his 3rd goal to the big full forward, Tom Hill. He's had a ripper season, and capping off that with a good game today. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 15 minutes gone in the final term. North Ringwood 15 goals, 12.102. Croydon 7.850. That is 27 scoring shots to 15. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap match stats.
Oh, you really did it then. 5 inside 50s apiece. That's 17 contested possessions to 15 for North Ringwood, as I just try and work out my votes for the game, which is probably more important at this point than meaningless stats in the remainder of the game.
So 52 points the margin in favour of North Ringwood. It certainly has been an afternoon for the Saints that they will cherish for a long, long time. It's their 2nd premiership in 3 years in many respects. Won it in Division 3 in 2012. Now Division 2 can be added to the tally in 2014 as Croydon move it forward, but again standing in the way.
That's 25.
And a brilliant mark. It will be a 25-metre penalty by the motion of the umpire. So that just, again, adding to Croydon's frustration. The recipient looks as if it's done for North Ringwood, who's been a very serviceable player, particularly in the first half when the chips were down. He lifted. Dunn looks out wide towards centre wing. Mark taken at the back. And North Ringwood will be content to just chip the ball around and soak up the moment.
Timmy Jones.
Jones towards the half-forward line. In fact, the mark's been taken on centre wing. It was a chip pass. And the recipient is Hill. Hill chips it again along the boundary line. Another uncontested mark taken. And the Saints, as I said, soaking up the moment. It's one of the most impressive joys of being a footballer when the premiership is won and you can just play for enjoyment, as a brilliant mark is taken at a one-on-one contest by Nick Murphy. Just superior strength, pushed off his opponent and took the chest mark on the half-forward flank. He can line up from 55 metres out on an acute angle. So Murphy has certainly been a credible focal point in terms of being a target up forward. Murphy from 45 metres, tight angle. It's across the face of goal. Croydon have the numbers at the fore, the ball on the goal line. It's rushed through eventually, and only a minor score to the Saints. So they move on to 15-13-103, leading Croydon 7-8-50. We've gone 17 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard in this final turn.
Ball winner through to the Division 1 at Choose Tap Grand Final for the third time in as many years, getting over Vermont this afternoon by 13 points.
From 5th position.
Well, we saw him do it from 4th 2 years ago. Dan Donati still undefeated in 10 finals. Performances as Lachlan Todd. Well, he's been a good player today for the Blues. I'd nearly say he's almost their best as he kicks it out towards the Jimmy Grant direction on the wing. He had Dean to contend with over the top shield, tried to receive the running handball. Free kick has been paid to North Ringwood. Ball being brought back. Jaden Van Unen. Short. That was good. Little handball over the top there by Price. He links up well with Matt Scott, who wants to get amongst the goal kickers. Scotty tips it to the top of the goal square. It just didn't have enough legs. It was straight and knocked over the boundary line and out of bounds. 20 metres out from the North Ringwood goals. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 17.5 minutes gone. North Ringwood 15-13, 103. Croydon 7-8-50. Croydon only 2 goals in the second half, while North Ringwood, well, they piled on 10 after a brilliant third term as it... Ball's been thrown in. Well done there by the player there in Bolton. He linked up well with Bentley, who had a bounce, make that 2. He might even go for the 3. Sold a little bit of candy. There's the 3rd now. He'll go for number 4. This could be a bit of a go here. One way, then the other. He turned himself into a bit of trouble. Got it across the wall towards Haag. Haag arched the back. He got the handball away to Slattery from 55 metres out from goal. Weinert's going, what are you doing? I was all alone about 20 metres out. You just had to give it to me. And the kick goes over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full, with North Ringwood to bring it back into play, deep in their defensive zone. The kick is poked out towards the Fenton direction. It's nicely done there by 2 Fenton boys working well together there. No doubt they've done that a number of times before. The kick goes out towards Whelan. This is Sam. Further afield. So, not quite just soaking it up yet. I'd like to see a few more celebratory goals. I enjoy seeing those as the mark's been taken by Curtis Dunn. 2 goals this afternoon. Links up well there with Scott on the right boot. The kick goes out towards the Malza direction. Here he is, Maxi takes the mark. Shepherd being laid. That was well done by Calcedo. Malza's kick let him down there. Slattery will pick it up for the Blues.
Great tackle.
Picked up by Jason Sharp, though. He slams it on his boot. He'll kick it to the top of the goal square. Sun got in all players' eyes. Martin's down there, but it was scooped upon by Murphy to the top of the goal square. Running into an open goal. Daniel Price just slams it into the fence. And a push has been
looks
paid
like another one as well.
After the kick, I see... Well, there's no doubt that a goal has been kicked to Daniel Price. The flags have been waved, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross time on in this final term, it is North Ringwood just running away massively with this game now. 16-13, 109. Croydon at 7-8-50. Just waiting to see if there'll be another double goal. We've seen that already this afternoon.
Looks like
another card.
Looks like a card might be coming out.
Hughes, is it?
No, it's definitely not Hughes. So a free kick in the top of the goal square. So Daniel Price, if you've ever seen a GIF, this is one. He's run into an open goal. And now he'll go back to kick his 2nd for the afternoon. There's already been 5 players who've kicked 2 goals for the Saints today. And Daniel Price is going to get amongst those in the last 10 minutes of this final term. Comes in now, Price, and puts it through. It's as easy as you like it when you do it like that. Undisciplined play by the Croydon backs there. See Daniel Price kick his second for them afternoon in a matter of seconds. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, North Ringwood 17-13, 115 lead Croydon 7-8-50.
Confirmation that was Shane Thompson who received the yellow card.
Just highlights another undisciplined act. Second half for Croydon has just been appalling in that area.
Yeah, there's been a plethora of undisciplined acts, as you said there, Damo. And look, it's just party time now. 12 goals to 2 in the second half for North Ringwood have been absolutely superb in the second half of this match.
Free kick out of the ruck contest is going the way of Croydon for an infringement, and they can move it forward through looping hand pass. A clever little tap on there by Bolton for the Blues, but it's turned over once again, and Dunn affected it. Got the kick forward. Wood takes the mark in the centre of the ground. Got the hand pass to his running player there in Dean. Dean swings round onto the right foot, looks towards centre half forward. Whelan couldn't take it on the half volley. He's claimed by a couple of Blues, and eventually the umpire calls for a bounce on centre half forward for the Saints. 67 points the margin. The last time these two sides played in the semi-final, it's currently at 65 in favour of North Ringwood. And from the contest, Hughes tries to raffle his way through. Whelan, great evasion, but eventually he's claimed by a couple of Blues, and we'll have another bounce. 60 metres around from the Saints' goal at centre half forward. We've gone 22 minutes in the final term in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. It's been a complete performance in the second half by the Saints. If you just joined us, scores were level at half-time as Hughes tries to wheel his way out of trouble, but he couldn't quite break the tackle, and we'll have another bounce on centre half forward for the Saints. So a pedestrian finish to this game. No doubt the North Ringwood hierarchy would be enjoying it as the tap is won through Croydon and Thatcher at the back of the pack. It's in the centre of the ground. They eventually try and move it forward through Bolton. Got the hand pass away, but it was well intercepted, and great evasion shown by Fenton. Callum Fenton on the right foot into the pocket. Croydon had the numbers in the air. A couple of players flew high. Got the hand pass out. Bolton on the half-back flank, lays it off. Kick towards centre wing at the back. Brilliant play there by Sam Whelan. He's crunched in a sandwich by a couple of Saints. Still in play here, this ball on centre wing. Fenton, who's been fantastic, Aaron Fenton this afternoon, the 17-year-old, but on this occasion, his kick is chopped off and marked by Volter for the Blues, who's been relatively serviceable in the second half. Got the hand pass away to Trent Martin, sends a probing kick to centre half forward. Brilliant mark, flying high. That was well taken by Curtis Dunn in a contested situation. And he can go back and take his kick. In fact, it was Cam Shield by the looks of it, who's come onto the ground. Chips the pass. And the Saints, as I mentioned, would be content to do this for the remainder of the final term. Mark taken by Tim Jones. Looks towards centre wing. Beats a number of outcomers, and a free kick is going to be paid again to the Saints. And it looks as if the recipient is Daniel Wood, who's been good in the second half. So Wood on the eastern wing here at Torball Reserve. Reached the 24-minute mark of this final term. Wood goes backwards to centre half-back. Mark taken by Weeks. And he chips the pass forward between half-back and centre wing. The Saints chipping the ball around once again. If you've just joined us, ball and through to the Division 1 Choose Tap Grand Final with a 13-point win over Vermont. Mark taken by Van Uden for North Ringwood. On the half-forward flank, sends a tumbling, floating ball towards centre half-forward. No mark by Fenton at the front. Wheels his way out of trouble. Sharp gets the long kick to the centre half-forward position. At the back, Croydon have the numbers, and it's rushed through for a behind by Josh Bolton. And another behind is added to the tally for North Ringwood. They move on to 17-14, 116. Croydon the 7-8-50 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. So the Blues bring it back into play, a torpedo. Why not when the game's over? It's tumbled towards the centre position in the centre circle. Taking it away was Tim Green for the Blues. Looks out wide. The speedy play, the fresh legs of Todd. He eventually lost the football, was stripped of it by a couple of Saints, and it's forced to ground level and will have a bounce as a gang tackle is affected between half forward and centre wing for the Blues.
Damo, just looking at the scoreboard, it's 116-50. 2 weeks ago, it was 117-50. So
could be identical.
The game has played in very similar fashion, particularly in the second half today.
That's right. I think on that occasion, North Ringwood displayed a four-quarter performance. On grand final day, scores level, but North Ringwood, I tell you what, they came out fighting in the second half. And in this second half, as a matter of fact, they've kicked 12 goals to 2. So throw in on the half-forward flank for the Blues. Can they gain some consolation goals as the hand pass comes out from Todd? Eventually it's picked up, shot towards goal as Frufra behind. It looked as if it was affected by Slattery, and it's only a minor score. So Croydon 7-9-51, trailing North Ringwood 17-14, 116. We've gone 26 minutes. Final term, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Boundary.
Let's head boundary side, thanks to Lifecare. Here's Alysia, Thomas, Sam.
It's all smiles here down at the North Ringwood interchange bench. Each player that comes off receives a high five, a handshake. Just a job well done today.
Well, it's certainly jubilant seeds tonight for North Ringwood and at Quamby Reserve as they celebrate their second premiership in 3 years. And the Saints clear it from their defensive zone. Chip pass finds Van Uden. To the enjoyment of the crowd, he marks between centre half-back and centre wing. Kick along the boundary line, marked by Anthony Sharp. Sent a tumbling ball towards the half-forward flank. Brilliantly done there with the interception. Bentley for Croydon. He forces a stoppage, and it'll be about 60 metres around for the Saints' goal, western side of Tormore Reserve.
Yeah, they would have really enjoyed the last 15-20 minutes of this quarter, the North Ringwood boys, knowing the game is over, and you can really sort of put the cue in the rack a little bit and just really enjoy being out there. You have a look at the score, you're 65 points up, and you're just running around, just flicking the footy around and enjoying it with your mates.
Must be a real contrast to that day in 2011 where it was high intensity and Heathmont prevailed on this ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I've had one as a player as well, and yeah, we were able to enjoy the last, say, 10 or 15 minutes because we're about 5 or 6 goals up, and you really soak it up now.
Yeah, and the ball went out to Whelan, but the umpire wanted Decker to come back over his mark, and I think he's been given a 25-metre penalty here, big Lincoln Decker. So, and make that a double 25 too. So he's gone a fair old way inside the 50-metre arc here. So
Mulligan.
A little bit of back chat, just letting down the Blues in the dying minutes of this game as Lincoln Decker. He'll certainly be a player who'll want to get amongst it.
Oh, yes.
Comes in 20 metres out from goal, and the Saints go marching into Division 1 in season 2015. Watch the celebrations right around the crowd here. The red, black and white going absolutely bananas out here, and why shouldn't they too? The second half from there, boys, has been absolutely sensational. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 28 minutes gone in the final term, the final minutes of the Division 2 Choose Tab season. North Ringwood 18-14, 122. Croydon 7-9-51.
I think for North Ringwood, they've been allowed to play the way they wanted to play in the second half. With Croydon's intensity dropping off, they were free to play the football that served them so well this season, and 13 goals in the second half to 2 just highlights just how much of a superb team they are.
71 points the margin in favour of the Saints. They'd be lapping it up, that's for sure, but it's Croydon who win the clearance from the centre stoppage. Onto the left foot, a wheeling ball comes from Hoffman towards the full forward position. Great mark by Wyden, and he slams it through once again for his fifth.
Beto style.
Free kick. Well, it's a 25-metre penalty. Apparently Wyden pushed off his opponent in the back, and he's dumped it into the Knox swimming pool once again.
80-metre kick.
He kicked that as far as Malcolm Blythe did. He got onto that torpedo like nobody's business.
I hate to live in one of the houses behind those goals.
Oh, I hate to live the street across from those houses.
I'd love to live in one of those houses so I'm getting a Sharon every day.
Free footies.
And also a $500 bill for the broken glass as well. And it's going to be a free kick to North Ringwood, a 25-metre penalty to boot. And the recipient is Daniel Wood once again, who's been lively in that defensive zone for the Saints. Switches the play towards the half-back flank. Mark taken by Weeks. Chips it out wide. Again, North Ringwood along the boundary line in the direction of Harbeck. Bounces in his favour. Tries to weed away a couple, but there's the siren, and jubilation for the North Ringwood Football Club, their second premiership in 3 seasons, and today by 71 points. The final scores of the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final for 2014. The Saints marching in 18-14, 122, defeating Croydon handsomely 7-9-51. What a win, and the Saints will be celebrating tonight.
Well, it was a fantastic second half by the North Ringwood Football Club. They came in today as favourites after finishing on top of the table in the Division 2 Choose Tap season, and to be able to come out after half-time, after they were met in that first 60 minutes of football, and really put their stamp on the game. It is a full credit to Brett Moyle and all his charges. A full team performance out there today on the park. They really like playing on this ground, and they used the space well, and they were just the cleaner side today, Damo.
Oh, absolutely. It was a sensational, complete performance, particularly in the second half. All players from across all departments of the ground lifted, after scores were level at the half-time break, and Croydon looked to be challenging them, but North Ringwood, gee, didn't they lift in that third term? They absolutely hammered Croydon out of the ballpark, and it was a great win to the tune of 71 points. They've been comprehensive all year in their wins, and that was no exception in the end today. A fantastic victory for the Saints, and I tell you what, Division 1 beckons for them. It's going to be very, very interesting, Steve Buckle, to see how they can perform and make the transition.
Yeah, look, I think they'll transition pretty well. It's well done to North Ringwood today. They deserved it. They were the best performed team all year, the most consistent team all year, and obviously we all thought going into today that they'd take the chocolates. So, look, it was pretty tight. Croydon kept it pretty tight for a half, and then North Ringwood's skill and composure and just pure talent out in the field, I think, and better drill just got them on top in the end. So very well done to them.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, North Ringwood, they just lifted in that second half. In the end, the goal scoring department in terms of the North Ringwood Croydon game in the second half, 13 goals to 2, so a one-sided performance after half-time, that's for sure, and that's understated, I think, in terms of North Ringwood gaining the dominance and the ascendancy in the second half. All the players lifted. They had a number of focal points in their forward line, a number of crummy players too, but it really was one in the centre through that engine room, and the stifled limited supply to the Croydon fours was another feature as well. So, great scenes for the North Ringwood Football Club.
It'd be good to get an interview out there from our Lifecare boundary riders.
Well,
it seems like there's a bit of time.
They're making their way in that direction. So, it'll be very interesting to see how North Ringwood celebrate. I'm sure Coach Brett Boyle will be absolutely wrapped with his players. He asked for a complete performance, and I tell you what, they lifted, they responded after half-time, and it just was... I suppose it wasn't the four-quarter performance they were looking for, but for Brett Boyle to see his players lift when the chips were down at half-time shows real character and great courage, and those are the attributes required for a premiership win.
Well, that's why he came back this year as well. He wanted. He said he had unfinished business.
Yeah.
And that's why he signed back up again, and thankfully for him, he's got back there, and they've won the footy game for not just him, but for all of North Ringwood.
Do you think he'll continue on next year, or has it been completed, his mission?
Well, look, he might feel it's complete, but if it was me in his boat, I'd at least like one crack at First Division. You've worked so hard to get there. You'd at least try to steer your boys in the right direction. But look, it might be time. It might be the perfect time for a change. Get some fresh blood in. Freshen the boys up to hit Division 1. But look, personally, I'd like to take them forward.
Yeah, fair enough too. It looks as if the transition from Division 3 to Division 1 is complete after North Ringwood. They found themselves in that position for a couple of seasons, and I tell you what, they have certainly come back and I suppose reparated themselves into the biggest Premier Division in suburban football across Melbourne. Let's head down boundary side, as a matter of fact, thanks to Lifecare. Jesse Failla is down there with a special guest.
Well, Brett, what a wonderful performance. How does it feel?
Oh, it's fantastic. Obviously, Croydon came with fierce pressure early, and we sort of hoped that at half-time that we might hope that we weathered the storm and whether they could do it for another half. But obviously, really pleased with our boys. We spoke at half-time. I don't think we were playing the way that we've played. We weren't pulling the trigger. We weren't taking risks. We weren't playing on. Croydon were putting that one extra behind the footy, and in the end, I think once we were able to man that up and we had one-on-ones and enabled us to play how we wanted to play, and the boys did the job in the second half, which was great.
You must have been extremely satisfied in terms of how they were able to respond to your direction throughout the game.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, I was getting very frustrated in the first half because I kept having Martin sit behind the footy, and at times, a midfielder drop back behind the footy. But once we were able to go man on man, it made a little bit. Thanks, Trent.
Did you want us to let us you go in there and enjoy that? No, you're right. Okay. They kept their cool in the third. You must have been proud with that.
Let him get amongst it. Good on you, Moyley.
So Brett Boyle joining at Jesse Failla boundary side. I tell you what, he'd be very much enjoying the camaraderie of those players as they sing the song. And I tell you what, it's the ultimate success to sing the song. That must be the greatest feeling, Steve, after a premiership win.
Yeah, it certainly is, mate. I I'm not sure if I was singing or still crying at the time. So, no, I really enjoyed it. It's a great feeling. You feel like you're on top of the world, whether or not it's 4th division, whether or not it's 1st division, 2nd division. It doesn't matter, I suppose, what type of footy you play. It's just being able to share that moment with your mates and all the people you've worked so hard with, and the entire club actually. So, from your water girls to your runners to
the whole
everybody.
club.
Absolutely, and everybody's around in that moment, sharing it together, and it's a really special time.
Let's head to Grant Campbell to see where the game was won, thanks to TuesTap with the all-important match stats.
About the only key stat Croydon won was the clearances, 45-40. North Ringwood had 209 kicks to 136, so that's 73 more kicks. Croydon had 108 handballs to 78. North Ringwood won the contested possessions 145 to 122, and the uncontested possessions 142 to 122. They won the inside 50s 59 to 37, and the forward 50 tackles, that really stood out, 12 to 2. So North Ringwood are thoroughly thrashing Croydon on the stat sheet, and I'd be interested to ask in one of the interviews that come up whether they changed their approach, because in the second half they had 110 kicks, only 31 handballs.
Wow.
So that's about 3.5 kicks per handball, so they were really using it by foot and damaging Croydon that way. Whereas the first 10 minutes of the game, I criticised them for overhandballing.
Let's head to Dyson Baker, who is emceeing the proceedings this afternoon, obviously waiting for the sides to congregate around the presentation dais. And I tell you what, there'll be jubilant scenes as the players accept their premiership medallions. But Andy, as Grant mentioned, they did increase their kicks by handball ratio. I think it was more the direction and the transition of play that certainly stood out for North Ringwood, because they weren't using the ball that well in the first half, but their efficiency by foot certainly improved.
Yeah, I found in the first half what they were doing is handballing in the one area, general area, and when they had their time to kick, they were just launching it long, fairly blindly, and the Croydon defenders were just picking them off essentially. In that second half, as Grant said, with the kick handball ratio, this time it was more kick, one handball kick, and so they were moving it much more quickly and much more directly from defence to attack, and it really exposed the Croydon defence. I felt like they were being outnumbered at some points as well, and look, the Croydon midfielders particularly, they weren't running back, sensing the occasion, sensing that the game was becoming beyond reach, and with that, North Ringwood, they took full advantage.
Absolutely, and they certainly took advantage in the second half. What happened to Croydon's ferocity at the ball? It disappeared, didn't it?
Yeah, they were anonymous in the second half. It sounds like a very harsh word to say, but they just didn't come to play for all the great intensity and for all their toil and efforts in that first half. I don't know what Paul Newland said at halftime, but it didn't work. Unfortunately, they just didn't. They didn't stifle the North Ringwood style of play. North Ringwood were allowed to play the way they wanted to, and when the game became increasingly out of their reach, they just became indisciplined. And it was not a second half to remember for the Blues.
And Steve, what about on the losing side of the coin here for Croydon? How do they come back from this loss?
Oh, look, I think they've just got to stick tight and stick as fat as what North Ringwood are. It's look, they might be at opposite, polar opposites at the moment, but everything's got to be virtually the same. They've got to, the whole club's got to stick fat. They had a really good year, Croydon. They played, they deserved their spot in this grand final, but unfortunately they just came up against a better team.
Well, let's head down to ground level. EFL Media Manager Dyson Baker with the MC proceedings for the presentations for the Premiership in Division 2.
From the North Ringwood Football Club, number 14, Tim Jones.
Fantastic player, Tim Jones, particularly in the second half across the defensive lineup. He certainly stood up with his ball use and his approach to the football, willingness to gain it.
There's absolutely a massive rap for his game today. I thought that his eye was on the prize from the get-go, as you said, and I think he was a four-quarter performer, really, and a very worthy winner of the blue ribbon medal. Really got the job done all day. Super across the halfback line.
We'll now present the medal premiership medallions, starting with number 1, Rory Harbeck.
Rory Harbeck was brilliant, highlighted his game with a fantastic running goal from the pocket. That really lifted the spirits at North Ringwood when the game was in the balance.
2 goals today, very
number
important
2,
big man.
Anthony Sharp.
Such a focal point of the engine room of the North Ringwood Football Club, gets a lot of the football and really moves swiftly.
Number 3, James Dean.
Jimmy Dean. What a great game he had today.
Oh, sensational, wasn't he? Particularly with his ball use. And it was a good four-quarter performance as well. Was consistent throughout the day.
Yeah, when the game was on the line, he was there.
Thought Nick Murphy presented well across half forward today.
Yeah, great jukes as Nick Murphy got. Gets mistaken with Tom Hill pretty easily, but great game from Nick Murphy.
Number 5, Aaron Fenton.
Well, he was one of those live wires in the first half, a bit Benny Brown from North Melbourne, putting his hand up, and a couple of goals this afternoon. Well done to Aaron Fenton.
And what a
Number 6, Tom Hill.
Well, Tom Hill, what can you say? It was an imposing focal point and figure across that half-forward line.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic
Number
season.
7, Matt Scott.
He'll be a good player in Division 1 as well. Matty Scott, the number 7, did a great job as well, winning a lot of the football and doing his part, clean skills.
Well, Van Eunen, he was a live wire at some stages, wasn't he? Particularly around that forward half.
He really presents well. He works hard as a footballer up the ground and into the forward zone. I'm really impressed with him.
Well, Sean Calcito, fantastic from go to woe, wasn't he?
Yeah, his first half was electric, especially his first 15 minutes of the game. He had more of the football than anybody else and ran it out right as well.
Number 10, Jack Whelan.
Oh, he was a fantastic player, in and under in the scrimmages.
He'll go a long way about winning the best and fairest this year in Division 2, a super player.
11, Matthew Weeks.
Bucksy.
Yeah, love him. Loved his game today. Had a tough job on Figueroa, and body shape doesn't match up. Figueroa's a lot quicker and shorter than him, but did a great job on him.
Tim Jones.
Well, Tim Jones, we mentioned his influence already, was fantastic, particularly gaining possessions around the half-back line.
Receiving the medal from the chairman.
Cam Shields.
Cam Shield got a couple of touches that he got were really important, especially in that first half, and he had to be clean, and he did what he had to do.
Oh, Daniel Price, wasn't he?
Got into the game, really, didn't he?
Yeah, and he used the ball with conviction as well. His kicks up forward were fantastic.
He's a scary figure.
Number 19, Curtis Dunn.
2 goals today to Curtis Dunn. You were happy with his presentation across the forward line, Damo?
Absolutely. He was certainly an important focal point. He was one of those big
Number 25,
targets.
Sam Whelan.
Sam Whelan.
I actually thought he had a really good game today, Sam Whelan. He's a tough nutter, a footballer that you want going in and backing up.
Very imposing.
34, Jason Sharp.
Silky skills of Jason Sharp are ever so important to the North Ringwood makeup. He's been a star for a number of years and certainly did his job on the park
33,
today.
Callum Fenton.
Oh, Callum Fenton. I thought he got into the game in that third term when North Ringwood were dominating.
Played a lot of good tackles as well, Callum Fenton today.
44, Daniel Wood.
Received a number of possessions in that final term. I thought he was instrumental, particularly when North Ringwood were on top. And he also scored 2 goals.
He did.
46, Lincoln Decker.
I thought he was great today, Lincoln Decker.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, I consider Cam Van Florenston as one of the best ruckmen going around in this division, and I thought he held him beautifully.
Number 69, Heath Hollywood Decker.
Yes, the helicopter man, fantastic. And
Hollywood, how happy Dyson Baker is with that comment. You can see he smiled from 100 metres away.
Oh, he's even got the helicopter twirl.
Assistant coach, Dallas Van Eunen.
So now the support staff coming up. It's a big victory for them, and it's great that people like these guys can get accolades on a day like today, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to try to give out as many medals as you can to as many people who have helped us. Unfortunately, they don't have enough.
Assistant coach, how much of an impact do they have on the club? Obviously, you being a senior coach, what are their roles really?
Oh, look, they have plenty. Look, my 2 assistant coaches this year, I had one looking after the forward line, one looking after the back line, and we had a playing assistant looking after the midfield as well. So I pretty much just oversaw the whole thing.
A few deep breaths, a few big steps.
Yes, club. It's good to recognise everyone in the club environment.
Number 13, Max Melzer.
Very good in the first half, PWS.
He's as solid as a rock, Maxi Melzer. I've loved watching the way he goes about it for years. And as far as coaches go, I know Bucksy, Brett Moyle, he's right up there with one of my favourites. He's an absolute ripper. He really has the control of his football club. They respect him, and they'll do anything that he asks for them.
And that was pretty clear to say he wanted after half time. I would have loved to have been in the room, but I'm pretty sure I would have known the message.
last year they put it out in the finals. We probably had to reassess what we'll wait back in. So all the best next year, Paul and the boys, and I'm sure you'll be back here on the stage next year. My boys, my last involvement in sport, myself, other than my kids, and I was sort of hoping that you guys would make it look good for 5 years, and I was hoping today you could do it one last time and show you. Thanks, boys. My support staff, Paul and Dallas Van Newton and Brad Green, just terrific football brains and a great help for me. And not only are they two enormous assistant coaches, but two lifelong friends for me. So thanks, boys. Footy club doesn't run without good people at the top, and that, to Maury Larson and his committee, thank you for all your support. And obviously all of our sponsors as well that help us do all. But yeah, I don't know, I'm a little bit lost for words. I can't believe that second half actually happened. So I just can't wait to lift up the trophy with my old mates. I'd like to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2014 Division 2 Senior Premiers, North Ringwood.
Fantastic sight seeing the Sainers get up on the dice there. They'll be going into Division 1 next year, and they've certainly earned their spot, Andy. A fantastic season. Pretty much from about round 8 when they first played the Croydon Football Club, around that time when they won emphatically that time. They haven't turned back, have they? And they've been certainly a force to reckon with, answered all challenges and really came out to play, especially in that second half today. We were expecting a tough first half. That's when it's a 50-50 game, you give it all, you give it your all, and that's what we got. But the cream really rose to the top in the second half.
Yeah, it definitely did rise to the top in the second half. Yeah, great that you pointed out that first Croydon North Ringwood game. Croydon had beaten everyone else, but I had a feeling that I wanted to see them how they would go against North Ringwood, and North Ringwood dealt with them comprehensively, and they've done so every time they've played them this season. But we highlight, as you said, that second half where they played their brand of football, and their brand of football has been by far the most successful in Division 2 this season. They turned it on with what was a 13-2 goal second half performance, and so many winners on the day. I found it really hard to give votes because there were that many contributors. You know, there could have been so many that I could have put in my votes for 1s and 2s. Such an even performance, and I really look forward to see how they go next year in Division 1.
Congratulations to Tim Jones for being awarded the Blue Ribbon Medal for this afternoon. As we saw him receive that medal and his grand final medal, he'll be a very happy man with 2 bits of metal around his neck for the next couple of days. Absolutely, and a SEN Team of the Year nomination as well. So, you know, just the completely successful season for Tim Jones. None of those individual accolades would really matter to him. Ultimately, it's the premiership, and he's got it. The individual stuff, it's the cherry on top. But it's great to see him recognised for such a superb season that he's had. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast today on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live on efl.org.au. It was the North Ringwood Football Club getting up very convincingly today. Andy, have you got the major goal kickers there? Yeah, I do have the major goal kickers, so I'll run through them. So Tom Hill kicked a 3 for the winners. There were 2 to Harbeck